the zone, breaking it down from her comfy throne. Smart as hell with a side of flair, politics sass and a killer stare. Casey's lurking tail in the frame, chat's already playing their games. That target day, sharp and bold, hot takes drop while the chaos unfolds. Truth with bite filth in the way, still showing up every streaming day. Brains and vibes, she leads the pack, now buckle in, no looking back. That dark night, let's go!
Good afternoon, everybody. Let's just check. Okay, my audio is going through the wrong thing, so I'm going to just change to Sonar. Let's hope it works. All good? Yeah, it should be fine. Should be all good. Let's get... you know what, I'll just keep my speakers like that. Hey, everybody. Hey, Groovy. Hey, Master. Hey, Creamage. As usual, welcome to what will be a subdued stream today, if all stays the same. But we're here to do it. There's nothing physically wrong, but I'm just not doing too well today. So, but we're doing it anyway. We're going ahead. So hopefully this also means that because there's less crazy going on, maybe we can be a bit smarter. Yeah, maybe with less energy comes more controlled thoughts. I'm hoping so. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Sorry about yesterday. I had some admin to take care of. So I had to go on a nice long drive and everything. I would have taken you guys with me, but we don't have the, what do you call it, the remote cam yet. It's coming today, actually. So randomly recommended. I know the cast and characters, though. How's your channel work? Hey, Michael. So what I do on my channel is mostly... make mind maps out of things, and the main thing that people did initially follow me for was something called debate diagram, where I basically make a mind map of the debate, of the ideas going through in a conversation. So it's kind of one of the things that I call it is sophisticated React content. So I basically react while making notes. So that's basically what we'll be doing with this this debate. Have you watched this particular interaction between Destiny and Econoboi? You say you know the cast and characters. I only know Whick and Destiny. I don't know much about Econoboi. It sounds like from the intro of what we heard there, or what I heard, it sounds like there is a little bit of history, and they kind of called, well, the people called for Whick to, what do you call it, to moderate this interaction between the two of them, because they have many misunderstandings. I don't know what's up, guys, but I'm hoping that this will cheer me up. Mind map's very cool. That's actually kind of very close to my own notes. Yeah, I saw that last week. Wick's good, chill host to manage those egos. Yeah, that's another thing that I'm very interested in is moderation, the way that a moderator can make a debate actually worthwhile, because online debates are not that interesting. Once you've done one, you've done a lot of them. That's just, we're going to argue about our definitions. We're going to eventually descend into, well, you're an arsehole and you're an arsehole, and we're going to just try and get gotchas all the time. It's not really interesting, I guess, to me. So yeah, hopefully you like what we do here, Mark. I'm going to get my Xmind out. Can show you the definitions. Well, that's as far as I've gotten. This one so far, it looks like Whick has tried to start with people getting their definitions out, and there is a little bit of resistance so far. So what I use is something called YouTube or transcript.io. Let me just put this here. Okay, YouTube transcript.io, and it'll be smaller on my screen, but I'm able to look through what people are saying. It helps me a lot, especially with someone like Destiny, who speaks at 300 million words a second. So that's what I also use to put into my diagram, to my mind map, to help me break down their idea. Because a lot of the time, basically the reason that I ever started doing mind maps is to try and make sense of things, right? So I want to make sense of their ideas. I was thinking this one, usually what I do, maybe if I bring up an example for you, what I usually do is I make a timeline of it, right? And that lands up being quite something to behold. If I fit this map, you will see. So let me just change it and show you guys. Solo. Okay, so this is the feminism debate we did last week. Yeah. Okay. So it really does, if basically I'll take the conversation and put everybody's speaking turns into their own blocks and move them, basically make a map of the conversation that then we can then connect things, right? We can connect things that they've said here to things they've said previously, connect arguments that apologies, this is really not the best time to get to be the first time you've seen me, but just try and follow along. Yes, we connect everything together. I try to make visual connections. The whole reason of doing this mind map instead of just notes, even though you can get notes like this, you can turn it into an outline of just points. I like having the visual thing of showing we're moving away from a subject, we're moving back towards a subject, we're, things like that. So I was going to do that with this one. Okay. So you've been trying to do this? Well, okay, so look, Michael, it's what I use is called Xmind. Okay, so if you just look it up, it makes it very nice and neat and tidy. There's lots of what do you call it? Mind map things, but this is just makes it nice. It's better than Miro and all of that. A proto version of this in 2012. Well, there you go. So look, this is it can go all the way into the conversation level. So I can go very, very deep into like copy pasting what they're saying, like to the point where they say exactly. And that can be, some people say, well, that's not a really good enough thing to do. It's not summarizing it. What's the point? It's not good enough for me, right? So they don't like that. So I was wondering, okay, should I try something else? That's 2012. Yours looks better. Well, it's because of Xmind. It does it. So I was like, should I try something else by mind mapping just the ideas that the people are bringing up? So basically, with Xmind, you can create about 3 different sheets. Okay, so different mind maps. And I was wondering if I make a mind map of each of the participants, but considering we are looking at Whick's moderation techniques, I think I'm going to have to go down into the conversation level again in some way. Let's see how it goes. I'm just going to create a new one. So I've got a what do you call it? A template here. Yeah. when you summarize their points rather than copy paste their exact words. Sometimes I need to, and then but I think we kind of did a bit of that, a bit of both in the feminism diagram, which I enjoyed. So I'm just going to put this is the capitalism versus socialism, and Whick moderates. So a lot of the time as well, the whole point I want to do, the whole thing I want to appreciate is how a moderator actually gets the conversation going. So here's just the key, and of course this time we'll have Whick as the moderator. Okay, Destiny is usually blue when we diagram him. You ever used a Ouija board? No, actually, no. No, I have not, and I don't think I will. I don't want to mess with that stuff. I'm a bit too open to influence, I think. I was gonna write Ouija. Destiny, okay? And then what's this? Econoboi. And Whick will be, what color shall Whick be? Green? Let's make Whick green. We could make him pink because he's got some neon in his signs. Ouija boards are dumb, not because they don't work, but because they might. That's what I'm saying. I'm too curious. You see, that's the thing. My curiosity is there, and that is something that what do you call it? It's something that would make me vulnerable. Yeah, don't generally fuck around. Listen, the only spirituality I fuck around with is Christianity, so we're good. Econoboi gotta be red. Okay, let's do it. Okay, well, it's kind of orange, isn't it? Not red. That's what killed the cat. And we don't need no dead cats, guys. If you want to know what's going on with my brain, okay, I listen to my true crime, and the true crime today made me cry. So let's not get into that. Let's be kind to me today, okay, guys? We'll have a better day tomorrow. Okay. Anyway, let's get our yeah, there we go. We'll get the transcript up. If there's anything visual that I want you guys to look at, I'll really pay attention to with regards to the way the people are. When I react to the way they look when they arguing with each other, then I'll let you guys know. But at the moment, you only just need to listen. It's called X-Mind. Like this. I warned you, you can't unsee and unthink some things. No, usually I can't unthink them and I'm fine. But today it just didn't work. And it was because of animals, that's why. Okay, so capitalism. Okay. Here we go. And we've got Whick as the moderator. So our major topics these are topic, I guess the topic timeline. That's the way Mark termed it. So we have the major topic will be a circle, and that's it. Is the C on the cup for cats? Yes, it is. No, it's for Chinsia, which is my name, but it's also for cats. Let's get our background music. Just let me know if it's a problem. I haven't touched it. I swear to God, I have not. There we go. Open you all up. Open. Okay, it's very low for me at least. Let me just check something out. Maybe it's because of the gaming. What I did with gaming stuff on Friday. Didn't increase it for myself. Okay. You should be, hopefully, you should be able to hear the video when I play it. So, okay, it's playing. We'll get it. It takes quite a bit for Destiny to get in. Woo! Very well done. Debate when? Here's the debate. The debate is what we're listening to. Violet. Okay, so the debate is here. It's playing in the background over here. Okay, and I'm looking at the transcript, which is over here. Also, by the way, Michael, if you want, go to YouTubetranscript.io. Okay, so that's what this is the program I'm using here, or website, and this actually, here, look here, go here, and why is it, yeah, there, and you'll see that, let me give you this full screen for a sec so you'll see what I mean. Over here, you can actually, it uses AI to give you a mind map. So it will give you the topics. So, I mean, I can do it right now. Okay. It'll take a bit of time, obviously. But it does, the only issue I had with this is that it doesn't do it chronologically. It just picks up the ideas. Is this all you got, man? Oh, okay. So now it's started to new icon, new idea. Okay. So okay, usually it generates much more. Okay. Usually it does. I've got better ones that you can, and you can export it as an image. And yeah, this was the joke, is that it's doing my job automatically. But no, this this doesn't work. Okay, this is not working the way I wanted to. But just go and check it out. See what it does with other stuff. What a wild concept! I love it as well. The thing is, yeah, but with the image that it does, it gives you key quotes, all of that sort of stuff. With the mind map, it basically gives you the topics. So you'll get the topics. You just won't get analysis. You won't get it in chronological order, which that upsets me, because it's very important to have it in chronological order when it's a conversation, because that's what I'm doing with a lot of the analysis, is conversation. Anyway, okay, so the diagramming bit, I'll show you how this works. Okay, let's go. We'll start off. Let's actually go to Whick starting this. Also, you'll see on the right-hand side the transcript scrolls here. From Mount Kinthos. Yes, awesome, yes. And that is supposed to do with the Synthos or Kinthos or whatever. It's supposed to be the goddess of the moon. So, hey, that's what I decided my name means. So, anyway, you'll see it auto scrolls here through the transcript. Yes, that happens in YouTube, but also you are able to add notes and things like that if you use this website. Cool. And copy paste, obviously, which is the most important thing for me. So audio, you guys okay? You can hear, hey? You can hear him. Don't know if I can make it go faster. Okay, I don't know about watching this on 1.5 with Destiny though. Never mind. Putting Destiny on 1.5 is just wrong. No sound? Okay, can only hear me. Okay. Let's see here. It should be here. It should be playing. This. I can hear myself. Let me see. Oh, you know what it is? It might be this one. Okay. This is not muted. This is not muted. Let's take this out. This out. This out. 1.5 Destiny is 8, yeah. I made a song for you to make you feel better, kitty. Check the DMs. I shall in a sec. Not hearing Destiny sounds like a feature, not a bug. Just hold on. Okay, just hold on. Oh, you know what? It's on the wrong thing. Stream, still series, stream. There we go. You should hear the background music and everything now. You should hear it all.
When you say you're a socialist, what do you mean?
Right? That should work. Yeah? You guys can hear. And it should be actually a bit too loud. Just bringing it. Okay. Like, I know you guys want to hear the video, but you also got to hear me, okay?
Go ahead.
When you're back on next time, I'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. So don't worry, we take a long time here. 3 or 4 hours, so don't worry. It's pretty quiet. Ah, fuck. Okay, fine. Whick is pretty quiet, but yeah, at the moment. Okay, I've brought it up to 75. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I thought we were doing opening statements.
Yeah, this is your opening statement.
Oh.
Go ahead.
This is your opening statement. Go ahead. See ya. Thanks so much. Go algorithm for once. Okay, so let's get going for Whick's first question, actually, because he does ask a question, but he says, oh, now that the guy says, oh, I thought we were doing opening statements. I think, yeah, defining is necessary in your opening statement. Do we get upset with Whick for this? I don't think so. Okay, for asking a question rather than saying what's your opening statement. I think it's better to push people into giving their definitions so we don't argue about definitions for the rest of the debate, which is what we actually had last week in the feminism debate. It was, look, it was interesting, but flippin' hell. Okay, so when you say you're a socialist, what does it mean? Every time, right? So this is from, let's do that. And actually, let's give it a bit bigger. Come on. Okay, and at, let's see, let's give ourselves a goal. I get to listen to the feel-good song when we get to Destiny's opening statement, okay? Cool, so we listen to Creamage's song when we get to Destiny, so just remind me, okay? I'm gonna need the boost. Every time you say Whick, I say Whick, you think of John Wick? Well, think of him that way. He'll enjoy that.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
sure, okay. Well, yeah, so I think there's a lot of misunderstandings about my position, so I figured doing this discussion directly would, I don't know, help clear some of that up at the very least. I know a lot of people don't fucking listen, okay? So hopefully
Wow, okay.
they will today. To answer that question right off the bat,
I think he's a bit nervous with all the jokes he's trying to pull, and he's like, oh, moderator interference and things. It's what you do when you're nervous, but whatever, we don't need to... look, I've got my whiteboard. I don't know if do we start off with life bars? Let's do it. We've got Destiny. We're gonna do life bars this time, guys. Not giving points and removing them, whatever. We're going to give points immediately and then remove them as they die. destiny. Okay, and would be great if I had my ruler out, but fine, we'll just freehand this. Okay. Destiny. And then we'll have in pink Econoboi. Okay. Whoopsie. Oh, should we take off point? We should also include Whick, right? I think Whick will get pink, so let's put Whick at the bottom with pink. He starts off as a lower life because he's nervous. No, we don't have any health boosts or anything like that. You only get removed. But we could minus a point for that. But who wouldn't be nervous facing Destiny? He's quick. Okay, Econoboi is green. I'm gonna confuse you guys. Let's keep it consistent. Is this red? That's brown. Okay, no, it is red. Econoboi. Okay. They're more or less the same length, guys. Okay, I suppose we can put chat in if we want. There. Okay, chat. There's space for chat. Okay. So chat will be purple. Okay. Okay. Sweet. Autism is a superpower. Yeah, exactly. That's why you should be nervous when you interact with it. Okay. It's more annoyed than nervous. I'd be more annoyed than nervous facing Destiny. What he lacks in quality of argument, he makes for in quantity. Yeah. I would be nervous because I'm just like, hold on, shh. Just slow down. So yeah, I would enjoy listening to that argument for sure. Maybe let's make it happen. What would you argue with him about? I guess anything, because he'll just argue with anyone. Okay, so we've got Econoboi, Destiny, chat, and Whick. Let's go. Chat being my chat, by the way. That's why it's purple.
Socialism is when you collectively own the means of production, and by the means of production, that's basically businesses. I think that's what socialism is. That's the broadest kind of tent of socialism that I think is.
Okay, so his definition of Econoboi's definition of Econoboi definition. Okay. Come, Daisy. Come here, baby girl. Come. Daisy's jumping around in the background. More Adderall always? I should get some Adderall. Imagine me on Adderall. That'd be great. So he wants to say owning the means of production, namely companies. Okay. And by means of production, that's basically businesses. Let's not say companies then. Basically, namely businesses. I know it's the same thing. Okay, that's the broadest kind of tent of socialism that I think is the biggest through line of socialist thinkers. Okay. Then
the biggest through line of socialist thinkers. And I guess to go on with my opening statement, even though it was phrased as a question,
oh my God.
Why is this preferable to capitalism? So
that's not I don't know, is he pointing out, oh, I'm at a disadvantage now because you asked me a question instead of my opening statement? But I guess he's making sure we all know this is his opening statement as well. Fun. This, I suppose what he would need to do with that is say why it's good. That's what your argument would be, right? Oopsie. Where does a question jump to? There you go.
To go on with my opening statement, even though it was phrased as a question. Why is this preferable to capitalism? So, I fundamentally now describe myself as a socialist because I came to a developed egalitarian view.
Okay, so preferable to capitalism because... Okay, and then we've got egalitarianism. Oh my gosh, spell. I've got the wrong... Look, the scoreboard's upside down, so I'm just gonna have to put it over there so I don't have to lift my elbow when I'm typing. Okay, egalitarianism. We've got his definition. Let's put there. Socialism. This kind of socialism is preferable to capitalism because egalitarianism is intrinsically valuable for a number of reasons. You've said nothing in that sentence.
Where egalitarianism is something that I think is intrinsically valuable for a number of...
Okay, so he's going to go, hopefully going into why. What about egalitarianism? So,
reasons. We can relate to each other as equals. I think that's a good thing, morally speaking. I think that the distributional principle...
socialism is preferable to capitalism because egalitarianism is a good thing. Equality is a good thing. More equality is a good thing. Let's go. Right, we've got intrinsically valuable for a number of reasons. We can relate to each other as equals. As equals. I think that's a good thing morally speaking. Okay. Cool. Okay. At least he's said within which framework this is good, which is morally. Okay. So it's like it's a moral good, therefore we should do it. I've given that kind of argument before. It's like we should do it because it's the right thing to do.
Of essentially equal access to advantage, where advantage is welfare and resources, established by G.A. Cohen. I think those are sensible egalitarian views as well.
Okay, so what's a good thing morally speaking? I think it's this. It's that the distributional principle. Okay, so we've got distributional principle, and that is he talks about this being the I love this phrasing. This must be academic phrasing, but it's in the name for me. Okay, that maybe this is basic bitch take, but that's kind of what I'm here for, right? The idea of access to advantage. Okay, the whole thing that we're against here is actually advantage. We don't want anyone having an advantage over another. So they've kind of now put everything that is good is actually an advantage. So everybody has to have equal access. I just thought it was an interesting word for however they G.A. Cohen or whatever, for them to word it academically as access to advantage. Because we've got we've had this idea in economics, in policy, the previously disadvantaged. We have that in South Africa. Hi Shedovich, welcome. Have you brought your advantage with you? Okay, distributional principle, which is equal access to advantage. And advantage means welfare. And resources. Okay, so yeah, the whole principle, I think just the whole idea, when you look at this, we're trying to actually erase the whole concept of ever having an advantage over another person. Equality means nobody has an advantage. Everybody has the same. Listen to what he said again. There's already a large logical problem with his statement. We can relate to each other as equals. I think it's a good thing morally speaking. I think that the distributional principle of essentially equal access. So you already said access. What? Access to advantage, where advantage is welfare and resources. Sensible egalitarian views, as well as capitalism, where logically I haven't seen Dildo in a while. I miss that guy. Come on, Dildy! Come along! He was here. He was, wasn't he in chat in Circle of Jerks on Sunday? Listen to what he said again. Let's go back.
A developed egalitarian view, where egalitarianism is something that I think is intrinsically valuable for a number of reasons. We can relate to each other as equals. I think that
We're relating to each other as equals, right? Equal access to resources.
that's a good thing, morally speaking. I think that the distributional principle of essentially equal access to advantage, where advantage is welfare and resources,
equal access to resources should be fine, right? Access? Does he mean by access as in just access, or literally a certain amount has to happen? Let's see where it goes with this.
established by G.A. Cohen. I think those are sensible egalitarian views as well. And capitalism,
He's got a citation here, so I guess I'll just put it here. G.A. Cohen. Like, I suppose that's supposed to help him bolster it. Doesn't with me. Okay, go.
kind of violates this in a number of ways. It violates it because of the private ownership of the means of production, sort of unequally distributing wealth in society, right? And
Okay, so the reason, so basically with capitalism, so if we put capitalism, capitalism is it violates this. Egalitarian. So let's do step 3 is capitalism violates the above. Okay, through unequal unequally distributed capital income. Okay. Capitalism, woo! We're all busy right now engaging in capitalism and benefiting from it. Unless by equal you mean no one can access it. No one, yeah, I guess. Equal is the only, when we're all equally poor, you and I cannot both equally access the same resource at the same time, nor do resources automatically increase if your population increases. Yes, this is the way that that V explains it, which is beautiful, as usual. He goes, when people increase, their need for stuff increases. We lose. We run out of stuff. Okay? We run out of stuff. We need people to make the stuff for the people. Yes, cool. But if you're not giving people any incentive to make stuff, nothing gets made. You run out of money, essentially. But yeah, this whole equality thing, it's because they see it unequally over there. Those resources belong to somebody else, so they should be accessed, Emperor. They should be accessed at the same time, both of them. All of them, because they're not mine. They're there. What do you mean? What do you mean we can't equally access the same resource at the same time? I mean, if we both had access to Elon's bank account, we'd be fine. We would totally be able to access that resource at the same time. Oh, would we come up to the whole idea of, oh, I would actually land up using more of it than you would be using more of it than me? We would never get to that situation. There's nothing wrong with that, no. Oh, and the bank account doesn't increase with the more people accessing it? No, we'd never figure that out either.
unequally distributed wealth means unequally distributed capital income, but it also means unequally distributed power in society, right? Wealthy people have a lot more.
Unequally distributed power. For me, the concept of power does mean that there is hierarchy. There is this whole idea, this whole concept of removing power from humanity is silly. It's just silly, because if you're trying to make us all equal, like, look, yes, we want equality as in we want to be treated fairly in the eyes of the law, all of that stuff. But in terms of trying to flatten hierarchies, it's just not going to happen. Stop trying to make it happen. It's not possible. It's just not how humans or nature or anything works. But okay, we'll try it, I suppose, if we get it right. Okay, capitalism through understood. So another thing is, unequal wealth. Let's say wealth means unequal society, right? Unequal power distribution. Okay. It seems like the nature of power would mean that it is unequally distributed. Some animals are more equal than others, kitty. You know what we should just do? Is it in the public domain yet? Animal Farm? We should just do a read-along of Animal Farm. The egalitarian hospital does not repair your leg when you come into the ER. Instead, it breaks everyone else's leg so that we are all equal. I like this. I like that, Emperor Goodwin. Yeah, that's how it works. Hey, Ringu! Good to see you! We missed you! How you doing? We're spinning the kitty, what's the name? Record today. There's no Democrats or Republicans, no Sunni or Shiites. There's only haves and have-nots.
Power, they have a lot more, as Ryan Mullally would say, capacity.
Okay, he's also done another name drop. Let's do G.A. Cohen. Let's give him a name drop marker. What would a name drop marker be? We'll just put a little grey head. Okay, so just in terms of symbols. Sorry, I'm just adding the symbols on the side here. We're going to say citation. Okay. Grey guy. Okay. And he's got... look, I'm using the transcript spelling. Okay. That vinyl was $20 last time I checked it. But why is the eye so weird though? I loved it when I saw it on my watch. I was like, oh, that's beautiful. And then when I looked at it on the computer, I was like, what happened to its eye? I was like, no. Okay, equal means who will be ensuring this equality of access and advantage? I think it's safe to assume that Destiny believes he will be within that group. Well, I don't know. Econoboi believes he'll be in that group too. So we'll see, Emperor. But one of the things as well was actually so great. The way that V worded it was the politician that is going to ensure this equality and whatever, right, for you. He is really, he's not going to let go of his own familial ties, his own priorities, his own people, his own closer-knit people, because that's what humans are like. They take care of what's closest to them, and then, yeah, sure, they have to be truly selfless for them to be this supposed egalitarian, and it just doesn't exist. I suppose that's what keeps these people hopeful, that they're like, one day if we just had the right person to distribute things, if people just distributed it well enough, this system would work. It's not that the system is flawed, and it's just we just need to find the right person to do it. It'll be fine. Unequal power distribution. Sorry, I've just got to do the Ryan Malley. What they have? Capacity. Mali, they have more capacity. Okay, people with, sorry, I'm going to say people with more wealth have more capacity. I'm not going to argue, we can't argue with these things, right? Nobody should go in and say, nobody is going to go in and say people that have more wealth have more power, don't have more power. They have more options. They do have different capacity towards it. Nobody's going to argue that. They're arguing with what your solution to all of this inequality is. People will with more wealth, have more capacity, okay? Well, elect some Plato's philosopher kings and it'll be fine. That's fine. Fine, Emperor. We elect you, then you'll be fine, right? You won't hurt us. And who will be ensuring they're quite... Yeah, so we good there. Don't be silly. Real socialism has never been tried. I almost have more respect for certain followers of the spicy pinwheel because at least they don't run around saying real Nazism has never been tried. Well, you never know. Listen, give it a couple months. We aren't finished with 2025. You don't know what. Put it on your bingo card.
But I would just say freedom. And I think that that's probably not good, especially on balance of your other values. Essentially, if we can create a more equal society without destroying the economy or,
if we can, you see, there's the if. If we can create an more equal society without destroying the economy. Okay. So Econoboi, I mean, I'm not an econo girl, so I mean, I don't know much. I'm no economist. But it seems like that would probably, we would be destroying the economy. Like, okay, you're gonna need a bigger bingo card. It's cool. You can order it from Amazon. Capitalism delivers. Okay, so if we could create a more equal society without destroying the economy, what? Without destroying the economy, sorry. Without, I'm gonna put the without like this, because it seems like he's got several. Destroying the economy. Destroying innovation. Okay.
destroying innovation or something like that, then I think that we should do it. And then maybe you'd sacrifice some level of like utility or something for some like radical increase in equality, perhaps.
Oh, he's okay with it. Okay, he wants that. That would be good. That will be good. But you would also have. Okay, that would be fine. We don't need to. If we could do that, cool, we could do it. But also, it seems like he's okay with some sort of decline at the same time. He is okay. And then I maybe would sacrifice some level of utility. Okay with sacrificing some level of utility for radical equality. Oh wow, this is an interesting. I found this quite an interesting. His next line here, quite an interesting way to word this. Listen to this.
And so I think that that's just something that is important. I think that inequality itself needs a reason to exist, and our current unequal society just doesn't have a good enough reason, if you ask me.
Okay, so he says inequality. Just as a sort of, I don't know, we could put it here. He's upset. Well, upset. He doesn't like inequality. Okay? So, but he goes, inequality, like his main, this is his way of wording it. Needs, what's up, peepers? Needs a reason. In today's society. Today, did he say in today's world, right? Doesn't have to exist in our current unequal society. Doesn't have a good enough reason. Okay. Have you guys heard this kind of wording? Look, maybe it's just my lack of exposure to this kind of this argument in a while, but this inequality needs a reason to exist, and we don't have a good reason. Inequality exists because of nature, because of disparities between people. Okay, yeah, we can try and help each other out more and all of this thing, but we are never going to be equal because we are not the same. We are not all the same. It's impossible. Unless you remove all of our qualities and try and make us some sort of automaton, then we could be equal. But that's why you need to have so much control to create this socialist utopia of yours. So the reason is that that's humanity. That's nature. That is reality. And he's kind of just saying, well, the reality shouldn't be. And we get this fun word that we got from the feminist last week, radical. So why not? When they want huge changes, that's what we want. We want radical change. It's a radical solution. We don't care. How the status quo is so bad, we need to completely overthrow it. People are fungible. Perfectly fine. I'm curious as to where socialism enjoyers can point to socialism working as an overarching system and not as a component of a mixed/free system. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe that's what he's trying to do here. I think that they put that in the argument anyway. They say it's a mixed system, but it's... They don't even say it's... Sorry, they won't say it's a mixed system, but they will bring in this mixing and still act like, no, it's still socialism, and the socialism will sustain itself. They don't realize that it's just impossible. Like I said, I'm not an economist, but it just seems to me, maybe I'm not radical enough. So maybe he'll help me out to understand. I mean, I am diagramming what he said. So far it's inequality bad, therefore socialism. Cool.
Now, to go on to finish out, I'll talk about my model very briefly. I think that the capital allocation, profit motive, like these kind of competitive processes are important. The way that capitalism kind of works today is that we have huge asset managers that allocate a huge proportion of the capital in society. And so
Allocated. Okay, these words need to be refined for me. Allocated. What do you mean by allocate? They give it away? They decide who gets it? When you use the word allocate, you're telling me that somebody is just given a thing. They're not doing anything for it. They're just assigned. There's no agreement. There's no deal there. It's just assignment. But okay, let's go. He goes into how capitalism works. So capitalism today. Is this where? No, not there. So that's where it would go if I go tab. Is this backwards? I don't understand. I think my structure of my the structure's wrong. Capitalism. Okay, there we go. We're supposed to start from the bottom. Oopsie. Okay, there we go. Econoboi's the definition: socialism is preferable to capitalism because capitalism violates egalitarianism. Cool. Inequality, and then we've got capitalism functionality. How capitalism functions. Okay, so we've got here. Kind of works today is that huge asset managers, okay, allocate huge proportions of the capital. So yeah, of course, my commentary is, well, let's talk about this word allocation. He's going to. It's a very simplified way of referring to economic processes and governmental processes if we're talking about taxes and things like that. Allocate is a key word here because of to show how he's characterizing this. Okay, so allocate. That's a lot. I hope that it is expanded upon. Okay. Okay, how capitalism is huge, asset managers, capital in society. And so basically is we should transition that process.
The way that capitalism kind of works today is that we have huge asset managers that allocate a huge proportion of the capital in society. And so basically what I'm saying is we should transition that process, that capital management asset process, from private hands to public hands.
Just, okay, so try do that. So what he's proposing, that we change the capital management process from private to public hands in the form of sovereign wealth funds. Okay. Wow.
In the form of sovereign wealth funds and holding corporations, to where we can eat up a large chunk of the economy, if not the whole economy, if things just end up working out really, really well by doing this. One small caveat before I give it over to Wick and Destiny.
Hold on. He sovereign wealth funds, and then also just adding to this, sovereign wealth funds and holding companies. Corporations. The idea is to eat up a large chunk of the economy. If not the whole economy. If things go well. If not, the whole eats up whole economy. If things work out well. Okay, interesting. What on earth? I mean, we are only on opening statements, so we would want him to hopefully go into these blocks, right? Explain these blocks. So if you're wondering what the point of the whole mind map is when he goes back into explaining these things, I would hopefully be able to give him a little arrow to where what he's talking about. Hi, Rookie11. Thank you for the subscription. Welcome to the cat colony, where we are diagramming so much every day. Okay. By the way, I'm feeling a lot better now that I'm mind mapping. So just so you guys know. But I do still want to listen to Creamage's song.
Is when I reference countries, I've heard people say that I said this. I've never said this, and I won't say it today. I don't think
we're going to keep you to that
the Nordic countries are socialist countries, okay?
Okay, so when he says countries, okay, he doesn't mean... let's do the caveat, sorry. I'll put it here. I think that's how you spell it. Caveat when he says... don't mean... what do we call it? Never said this, I won't say it today. Don't think the Nordic countries are socialist countries. He doesn't think. Okay, socialism is when you... Ooh, bless you, Daisy! When you collectively own means of production, okay? And they don't. Oh! There's a spectrum!
I think that socialism is when you collectively own the means of production. Societies exist on a spectrum.
Hold on, he says he will not say this. Will not say Nordic countries are socialist today. So we're gonna hold him to that. It's in the diagram, therefore it is set in stone. Okay. But his thing is, sorry, he's also just adding the point that societies exist on a spectrum, right? Everything's on a fucking spectrum, boys. On a spectrum from between total private ownership and total collective ownership. Okay. Total collective. Okay.
Between total private ownership and total collective ownership, the socialist ideal, the capitalist ideal. The Nordic economies, the reason I reference them is because they've engaged in a process of socializing at least a very large chunk of their economies. And
okay, so there you go. Ringu. There, Cyber Ringu, there you go. This is the mixed discussion. So let's see how he talks about this. He's like, well, you see the spectrum, right? So you could it still has more socialism in it. It's not socialist, but it has more in it. Okay, it's got more flavor of this. So the Nordic countries. Sorry, I'll add his wording in here. Capitalist ideal versus the socialist ideal. Okay. And the Nordic countries, they've engaged in a process of socializing at least a very large chunk. Have large chunks of socialized economy. Okay? So what my natural question there is that enough? Would you want it to go all the way? Does it need to be all the way? For you to be satisfied with it? Also, what do you think about those societies has made this possible? What do you think? And do you think any of that is going to last with the migrant crust?
we can see kind of the fruits of that, where they have reasonably decent levels of economic growth, employment, good unionization, things like that, high equality.
Oh, so just also in terms of the evidence, we've got decent levels evidenced by, we've got the economic growth. Well, how did he call it? Decent economic growth. Okay. Employment. Good unionization. You know, not as opposed to the bad unionization. Hey, Scooby! How you doing? How was your weekend? Sorry, I know yesterday was... I know I missed the whole of Monday, but today's Monday for me. Because my whole day was spent outside yesterday. Good unionization. Things like that. High equality. High equality. Okay. For now. High quality and high taxes, boys. Very high taxes. Okay. P2 of not getting up. I don't get why people frame it as capitalist versus socialist. There's no pure form of either. The argument is always about the mix of systems. So congrats, they passed the level 1.
And I think that those are just good examples of the process where I want to move society towards.
Okay.
He wants to move society towards it. Okay, so he wants that. Okay. Those are just good examples. To move towards. So I wonder if, I don't know, he says he wants to move it towards there, and he never did say he wants it completely. He just wants a little bit more. I think you're right. He's not saying he wants complete socialism. He just wants a bit of a mix. He wants more. Okay, he wants more welfare and more equality. And we're going to call it socialism. Okay. Cool. This, okay, essentially is probably a basic thing of what's gone on in Destiny's head while he's listened to this, and he's obviously taken his own notes. But yeah, that happens without the pauses and all of that. That just happens within his brain. So good for him. That's why he's got the platform he's got. He has understood all of this quite nicely and neatly without needing to write it down the way I have. Okay, so fine, we haven't taken off any points. He's made his opening statement. Fine, he might be wrong, but he's been clear about what he said. Let's see how we get to the next one. Let's see how Whick does by with this.
Well, thanks for being here. Destiny, why is capitalism the superior system to whatever Econoboi just said?
Destiny, why is capitalism the superior system? Okay, cool. This is the main argument people will give you is it's the best, the least worst, okay, system. It's not perfect, but it's definitely better than socialism. So Destiny, why is capitalism the superior system to Econoboi's socialism? So now I wonder if if Destiny needs to tweak any of his rebuttals or whatever, or any descriptions of his system, to see whether they actually do disagree completely with how Econoboi has structured his argument. Maybe he's going to criticize that. Let's see. Oh, first of all, before we go into Destiny, let's get our song out in DMs. Creamage made a song. Feel Better Kitty. Okay, let's see.
Today we hope you feel better soon. We love you. Boredom will give you cuddle soon.
Yay!
It's not a sim thing. We just love you.
Yeah, it's not a thing. I love that. Thanks so much. And Creamage, the reason we even got to stream today was because I looked at my excuses are for chumps kitty sign. I worked out because of the sign, and then I got off my ass again and got back on my ass here because of the excuses are for chumps. I don't know if Creamage is still here, but we love you, Creamage. Thank you so much for helping me feel better. That song did help. Econoboi socialism, shouldn't that be Destiny socialism? Well, Destiny is supposedly arguing for capitalism here. Okay. Here we go. Let's go.
Because capitalism is based. I don't
Oh, come. Yeah, yes, in entertaining.
want to start off by saying that I spent a lot of time on Amazon because I was going to respond to Econoboi's horrible appropriation of violent communist flags and other stuff in the background. I was going to buy a bunch of Nazi shit, and they don't actually sell Nazi flags on Amazon. So I don't appreciate that. I feel like it's very
Oh, Destiny, am I going to take off points for you for performing here and doing jokes? I mean, I didn't take from him just because yours are a little bit funnier.
one-sided in how they run things over there.
Okay, so yeah, I guess that you warm yourself up by just making silly comments. It happens. I'm not going to take points off.
When it comes to like a larger discussion on this, I don't know if I need to clarify this or not, but I guess just for anybody listening who doesn't catch everything on every platform, obviously there were a lot of heated debates between me and Pisco and Econoboi and other.
Yes, by the way, we were supposed to do the Pisco debates, and I could not handle it, and I was like, and this one was more recent, and I was like, you know what, we'll do this one, okay, because it doesn't involve Pisco. So maybe I've exposed myself to a lot more with Econoboi here, but I thought this might be a little bit more palatable for me because it's just Destiny. We've got Whick to help me along, and I don't know Econoboi. Whereas with Pisco, I can't handle him. So I'm hoping this will be okay. Godspeed. Well, Destiny, you said it, not me. Capitalism is the superior system because it respects personal property and only recognizes voluntary trade. Well, let's see if he says this.
Members of different communities having to do with like leftists and tankies and bad actors and everything. Just to clarify for the 50 millionth time, I don't think Econoboi is a secret tanky. I don't think he's secretly trying to be subversive.
Okay, it seems like he's just addressing the drama, which I suppose is what Econoboi was doing as well when you said the people asked for this discussion with Whick moderating. Because Whick did say, oh, okay, well, we thought this would be a productive conversation with a moderator, and then Econoboi jumps in and is like, okay, no, the people asked for this.
We're doing things. I do disagree, I think fundamentally with a lot of his platform, but not in the same way that I would say that like other like Marxist-Leninists are bad faith actors trying to worm their way into the system to destroy everything in a way that they're not upfront about.
Okay, so he is
Just, I guess for anybody that needs to hear that.
Okay, he's acknowledging, I think fundamentally with a lot of his platform, I don't think he's secretly trying to be subversive or doing so. I've just address this drama. I'm gonna put it like this. Address this drama. Drama by saying he doesn't think Econoboi is a secret tanky who is being subversive. Okay, fine, cool. Let's get into the arguments. I'm sure people are having a great time with that. They must have loved it, but I'm not privy to it. So I want to go into the argument. Tell me.
Clear of that. So I guess our conversation will probably revolve around a few things in this debate or conversation, whatever we call this. So
yes, please be more of a conversation than debate, but yep. Debate diagram has a nice ring to it.
I think the first issue I have is I think there's like an unclear vision of what socialism actually is or means.
Okay, so he's sorry for you, Whick. Your question is not being answered. Okay, yet, I suppose. He's going into his own definition. So maybe the first question would have been better for him. Not when you say you're socialist, but the first question of, well, trying to figure out the definition of socialism from him. So he's going to talk about, there is unclear vision, okay, of what socialism is. I'm going to put this here. What socialism, I think the first issue is there's like an unclear vision of what socialism is. Okay. I suppose he's saying it's unclear to most people. Cool.
I think it's kind of ironic, or not ironic, but funny, I guess, that Econoboi kind of started off clarifying, you know, what his version of socialism is, that he doesn't think that Nordic countries are socialist. And it seems like that on one hand, you want to say, not Econoboi in general, but on one hand, like people want to say that they're socialists, but then you fight so much against like what socialism means or what it doesn't mean that the label starts to become meaningless. And I think that the issue is that it allows for a lot of bad faith actors to come in and kind of usurp that label and use it as kind of a disguise or So I think it's one reason I don't like the socialist label if what somebody's advocating for is largely liberal or works in a liberal or capitalist framework. I do think there are huge...
Yeah, why call it... Yeah, why call it socialism? Or communism, essentially. Why call it that? Why not just call it increased welfare? Or more measures for equality or something like that? Why make it a socialism thing? But he's using some sort of spectrum. So that's, but I think that is what Destiny is saying he doesn't like. He doesn't like this idea, and then of course he's now saying the term, the label is the problem. So first of all, what socialism is unclear to most. So we've got bad faith actors. So also bad faith actors. Okay, we got, what are they bringing in? Because Destiny's being a weasel. What is he weaseling in, Godspeed? mean that the label starts to become meaningless. So he's it's kind of like when people start talking about woke, people decide that that it means nothing, therefore what are we going to do? Are you going to give us a definition, or are you just not going to tell us you don't like the word? Daisy, what's it, mommy? Come here. Daisy's meowing, guys. Daisy, come here. Come here. Okay, so what socialism is unclear. But they're not in a religion, but a god, but a relationship with God. Okay. What is socialism? Unclear to most. Definite label. Allows what? Bad actors. To what? It's kind of a disguise. One reason I don't like the socialist labels, what somebody's advocating for is largely liberal or works on a liberal, okay? In disguise, okay, and then it's also what they're advocating for. What it works under a liberal capitalist framework. Okay, so he's basically saying stop calling it socialism, what you want. You actually, you need capitalism.
Moral and democratic questions about what the expropriation of property ultimately looks like. A lot of the examples I think of bad faith actors too come in and kind of usurp that label and use it as kind of a disguise. Or so that's one reason I don't like the socialist label if what somebody's advocating for is largely liberal or works in a liberal or capitalist framework. I think that there are huge moral and democratic questions about what the expropriation of property ultimately looks like.
That's good. Thank you. Well done. Well done. Yay. There are some moral questions about expropriation of things. Thanks. Yay. But what does that mean? Are you also giving me disguisey words by saying there are some moral questions? Go further. Go on. I mean, I will once I've tapped what he said. Moral and democratic question. What do you mean by questions? Questions does too much heavy lifting. Questions about what's the, like, is that supposed to placate me? Okay, expropriation of property. Property looks like. So we still need to expropriate it. Okay. So, we still need to expropriate it. If we expropriate it a little, maybe it's okay with Destiny. Okay. Can we expropriate his property?
A lot of the examples I think that Econoboi gives for how we could expropriate property, I think are a little bit unsatisfactory. So when we bring up things like civil asset forfeiture or things like eminent domain, like we're not taking these things to socialize them or to make them like a part of a socialist economy. Usually they're done for other reasons, sometimes for punishments for crimes or sometimes for, necessary government projects. I don't think that those comparisons are the same as trying to acquire 90 to 100% of the overall capital of the United States.
Is it me, or does Destiny fail every debate he's in? He makes it up in volume. Okay. So his appearances are good enough, I suppose. Volume as in, for me, as in the amount he talks. It's like if we don't listen hard enough, then we don't need to pick it apart, and it's fine. I don't generally enjoy going over his stuff. It's still theft, yeah. But he's come within context. Let's give him this fair shake, okay? He's within context. He's saying, well, the solutions, okay? Let's actually bring this here. Moral questions about what expropriation looks like for the socialist project, right? He's saying that okay, well, what did he call it? Things to socialize them. Okay, civil asset forfeiture. The solutions suggested by Econoboi. What did he call them? I don't think those are this. Let's go back. Go back here. And then jump here.
Like a part of a socialist economy. Usually they're done for other reasons. Sometimes for punishments for crimes, or sometimes for necessary government projects, are a little bit unsatisfactory. So when we bring up things,
unsatisfactory is what he called it. Suggested by unsatisfactory. Okay. Okay. What do you mean by unsatisfactory? Is it theft? Is that why it's unsatisfactory? Or it actually just won't work? Okay, so how he elaborates on unsatisfactory here. This is the whole point that we do this really so in detail. Okay, a little bit unsatisfactory. So when we bring up things like civil assets, okay, so civil asset forfeiture. Okay, cool, that. Or things like eminent domain. There. Okay, we're not taking these things to socialize them, so they're actually no. The thing is that's exactly what they're doing. What he wants. He wants that to be seized and then socialized. He's like, oh, well, when we do this now, we don't do it to socialize. Yes, I know that, but he wants that to happen. Okay, it's a punishment, he says. Okay, so is that his argument? Because it's a punishment, you realize that means it's wrong. Okay. Not usually done for socialism economy. Okay, what is it usually done for? But sometimes for punishments of crime. So we've got punishment for crimes. Okay. Sometimes for necessary government projects. That's what the government argues is social projects. So okay, government projects. This is just all a lot of politician talk, actually. Necessary government projects. Cool. If you guys are getting frustrated with my pace, just understand when it comes to Destiny, it really is difficult for me. I need to really take it every single word apart. So if you can't deal, just go and listen to the original on Whick's channel. I'm sure you have already anyway. Just re-listen to it. Okay. So things to socialize them and make them.
like civil asset forfeiture, or things like eminent domain. Like, we're not taking these things to socialize them or to make them like a part of a socialist economy. Usually they're done for other reasons, sometimes for punishments for crimes, or sometimes for necessary government projects. I don't think that those comparisons are the same as trying to acquire 90 to 100% of the overall capital of the United States.
Okay, so that's not comparable. The need to do this, the project that he wants, the solution that he wants, right, would be, so it's not comparable. Not comparable to trying acquire 90 to 100%. So he did say a little bit. Look, he wasn't very specific about what assets, how many assets. He just said a little bit. Eats up a large chunk of the economy is what he said. Okay, this is as close to referencing what Econoboi said. Okay, not comparable to trying to acquire. This is him like kind of speaking back against him. So, what do we want to call this? Criticism. Okay. Let's put the arrow on the other end. There you go. Okay, but those are obvious means by which you attain Destiny's goal. Well, I don't know what Destiny's goal is. And you're citing things that you know about Destiny outside of this conversation. I want them to refer to things inside this conversation. I don't want to be hunting for what their views are elsewhere, unless Whick tells me about them and says, oh, I remember reading this or hearing you say this, and he brings them into the conversation. It's like a court record that I'm kind of using here. Not comparable to trying to acquire 90 to 100% of US capital. Yes. No, I'm referencing his definition of socialism as his definition of socialism as in preference for it as stated in the opening remarks. In his opening remarks, he did not. This definition is not Destiny's. This is Econoboi's. This is Econoboi's definition of socialism. The only thing that he has spoken about in terms of what socialism is it's a label that allows bad actors to disguise as a disguise, okay, their ideas. What is being advocated works under a liberal capitalist framework. So he hasn't actually gone into what socialism itself is. He's criticized what Econoboi calls socialism. They have the same terrible voice, soy voice. Well, yeah, that's it. So we're only on Destiny now. Moral and democratic questions about what. So this is Destiny. You just listen to how fast the person's speaking, and you'll notice it's Destiny. But he's actually pretty tame right now. I suppose once we really get going, you'll be able to tell the difference.
Under the ownership of the government. I think that when we talk about
Sorry, it's not comparable to trying to acquire in US or government ownership. Okay.
Egalitarianism, and when we talk about idealized forms of economies, I don't know how much time I'll argue this, but I think it's interesting that you always hear this argument, and even capitalists give here, arguments will, socialists will say, and capitalists will say, well, socialism only works in an idealized form of society where there's no human greed. And in an ideal world, maybe we'd be socialist. But I don't actually know why that's true. I feel like people assume that, and it's not necessarily the case. Like, I can envision an ideal socialist world where everybody shares in the means of production and we all get the fruits of our own labor and, we all can do that, sure. But I could also conceive
you can do that?
of an ideal capitalist world where everybody has really high-paying jobs. They can choose who they want to work for at any point in time and quit.
So okay, let's go back to this.
And we all get the fruits of our own labor and, we all can do that, sure. And we all get the fruits of our own labor and, we all can do that, sure. But I could also conceive of an ideal capitalist world where everybody has really high-paying jobs. They can choose who they want to work for at any point in time and quit and leave. And
I do auto-scroll, but it's a problem because I try to get up to things and then eventually you have to kind of turn off auto-scroll. Okay. Let me see if my up arrow works. No, if I sit here and go up. Yes! Okay. Okay, so let's go back, yeah?
Where there's no human greed. And in an ideal world, maybe.
So, socialism works. This was exactly what I was saying, that it doesn't work. Not where there's no human greed. No, it's not about greed. Okay, yes, we can call it greed. But it's where there's no inequality, literally, between humans. Where humans are all the same. That was my idealist. It is an idealist idea. The way socialism, the way humans would need to be for socialism to work does not exist. And he's called that out. He says that's actually not a problem. Okay, so another point that he's making, I much prefer, so far, I actually much prefer Econoboi's way of giving us an opening statement. Right now, Destiny is just telling us what he thinks of things, instead of saying, my definition is blah, 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 blah. He's just going a little bit of, I suppose he's adding his rebuttal around all of this. I would have preferred a proper opening statement. Where no human greed, okay, so he's gone to socialism only works in an idealist form. Okay, criticizing. what is even the frame of this point? Okay, because he finished. We finished off with there's a problem with getting the capital, privatizing, making it public, right? Making it the government. That was his last thing, the moral and democratic questions about expropriation, right? Then his next point is
overall capital of the United States, under the ownership of the government.
Okay, egalitarianism. So criticizing egalitarianism, or I won't even say criticizing. I'll just put the main point, egalitarianism. That's because he is rebutting. Yeah, that's why he brings it up. So that's the main thing. He's referring to this because that's exactly what Econoboi wants, right? He wants egalitarianism. So that's why he needs to talk about this. I understand. So, United States, the ownership of government, I think, okay, we talk about egalitarian, we talk about idealized. So when we talk about egalitarianism, we talk about idealized forms of economy. Okay, and then he goes into the idealized form of socialist economy. Oh, Axie, hello, Booey. If you go higher, you'll go on the cam. I've got the cat cam set up, but you won't be able to see it where he is now. Okay, economy, idealized form of socialism. He uses, it's actually idealized humans, no human greed. Okay, and then idealized form of capitalism. Everyone has high-paying jobs and works for whoever they want to. Can you guys see Axie's paw coming up there? Okay, cool. We're just going into, you can have goodness in both systems. Okay. You need to bring Kitty back to Monster Hunter. I need help. Yes, I need to carry you, Artoria. I played some on Friday, by the way, on my gaming channel. Well, you will see it on Twitch. Last week's stream.
I think that when we talk about egalitarianism and when we talk about idealized forms of economies.
Oh no, gaming, it's the same. My Twitch channel is the same. Sorry, you're on Twitch, so it doesn't matter. There's no different channel. It's the same. It's on YouTube. There's a different channel. Do you want egalitarian? For science, yes.
I don't know how much time I'll argue this, but I think it's interesting that you always hear this argument, and even capitalists give here, arguments will, socialists will say, and capitalists will say, well, socialism only works in an idealized form of society where there's no human greed. And in an ideal world, maybe we'd be socialist. But I don't actually know why that's true. I feel like people assume that, and it's not necessarily the case. Like, I can envision an ideal socialist world where everybody shares in the means of production and we all get the fruits of our own labor and, we all can do that, sure. But I could also conceive of an ideal capitalist world where everybody has really high-paying jobs. They can choose who they want to work for at any point in time and quit and leave. And I feel like you could have idealized versions of both worlds. It's just difficult because with capitalism, there's a real-world implementation of that, and you have to fight on that real-world implementation. And then on the socialist version, you have to fight on the kind of idealized or utopian version. So it's harder to kind of point out flaws.
Okay, so because is he just using more, guys? Am I losing it here? Goodwin, please tell me. Guys, tell me. Am I losing it here? Is he just putting more words together to say we haven't tried real socialism? It's more difficult because you have to fight for the idealized version of socialism, whereas it's so much easier to fight for good capitalism because we have capitalism now. Okay, so we have it, so it's easier to fight for it now. It's easier to fight for an idealized version of it. We've got the bad version, but we can fight for good version of it. But when it comes to socialism, we haven't got the ideal version, so it's a lot more difficult. Which is, in my opinion, the same thing as saying true socialism hasn't been tried yet. the same. They're interchangeable in my opinion. Communism and socialism. That maybe that's a basic bitch take, but that's what I'm hearing. Okay, so idealized forms of economy and his base. The conclusion of these two things. Okay, the conclusion he gave us those two things. That there's two. You can idealize both of these systems. The difference is capitalism is ideal capitalism, right? Idealized is easier to, I suppose, advocate for because it's in the real world. Axel, don't make me put you in time out. Leave your sister alone. Please. Please. Okay. You see, this is why I can't have whole human children. I would not be able to. Okay, easier to advocate for because it's in the real world. Okay, it has real world application, but then we've got idealized socialism is more difficult to argue for because it's not out there. How did he word it here at the end? Because utopian version, you have to fight for the kind of idealized utopian version. Okay. I suppose as opposed to the real world, I'm putting this in there as opposed to the real world application. Crash Out Kitty, check the song I sent. I did, I listened to it. I did. Or did you send another one? Leave Daisy alone. Leave her alone. That's what I'm trying to say, guys. Axel needs to leave Daisy alone. I'm fighting for her. Our infrastructure is still built and maintained by men, therefore patriarchy. Autoria, that's last week's discussion. This week we're talking about capitalism. Capitalism is good. Kitty cancelled for pet abuse. It's just, I just said a thing, okay? I didn't do anything. But yes, when we put Axie in time out, he goes in, we put him in the bedroom. So he can just calm down, have fewer stimuli, and leave his sister alone. And Daisy will sit outside the door waiting for it. You guys have you heard the hissing that happens when they fight? It's properly scary. Worse than the gulag? What's worse than the gulag? Kitten jail is worse than the gulag, yes. It's the mulag. Okay, idealized socialism is more difficult because you have to fight for the idealized version as opposed to the real world application. Okay. Let's put it has already has. Okay, cool. This is not much. Meow Musa sent me to Mewlag and Mewberry.
4 and 5, I think for the fourth point, I've got socializing profits is a thing that socialists always talk about. Like we want equal ownership in the means of production so that we can all kind of reap the rewards. And I think that's an attractive quality about sharing in the ownership of the means of production. But it also means socializing decisions. And I feel like there's not as much time paid to the socializing decisions parts. So for instance, if the government owns 90 to 100% of all the capital in the country, that means that every new business started kind of has to be started by the government. So are we taking votes on that? Are they going to be picking winners and losers? Are they going to decide, whether or not there's an 18 or older ID verification limit on my pornographic consumption, or whether or not League of Legends gets canceled for Dota 2 or whatever else?
Make some nice jokes along there, but cool. Yay, we on the same. We have the same number of points. So what did he term this one for point number 5? Oopsie. it's socializing. Sorry, socializing profits. Okay, so he talks about socializing profits. Okay, it's attractive because we get equal ownership in the means of production, so that we can all kind of reap the rewards. Because we all get rewards, reap the rewards. Problematic problem in that decisions are not decisions also need to be shared, or they aren't. Okay, be shared. All new companies are started by the government. Voting on decisions. Sharing the ownership means productive, also means socializing decisions. Okay. I like that. Yeah.
Socializing decisions, and I feel like there's not as much time paid to the socializing decisions parts. So for instance, if the government owns 90 to 100% of all the capital in the country, that means that every new business started kind of has to be started by the government. So are we taking votes on that?
And again, with that, every new company needs to be started by the government. Nobody wants to start a company because why? It's not going to be theirs for much longer. Why start something that will then be expropriated the moment it becomes successful?
Are they going to be picking winners and losers? Are they going to decide, whether or not there's an 18 or older ID verification limit on my pornographic consumption, or whether or not League of Legends gets canceled for Dota 2 or whatever else? And then I think that
there is problems with competition. Yeah, all of the decisions. That idea of Dota gets cancelled because of League of Legends or whatever. Yeah, there is less freedom in that. You're talking about egalitarianism. Things like that become a problem.
For the final thing, this is kind of a general complaint I've had. When people talk about we got these really good things because of...
Sorry, I'm just going to put voting on all decisions, less freedom. Government. It's deciding which video game is going to... excuse me, continue existing. Okay, examples. Fun. Who does the nasty work when there's no incentives? You are just told to do it. You are assigned the dirty work, and that's it. Okay? Like in what's the name? Not Hunger Games or whatever. Oh, I suppose it depends on which district you're in. If you're in District 7 or whatever, you do a certain job for the country. What's that other young adult fiction one? You basically get placed in the virtue that you're supposed to have for the rest of your life, and that's it. I think it's what? Maze Runner? No. Probably. I don't know.
Socialism in the United States, whether you're talking minimum wage or 40-hour work weeks or whatever else.
That's not equals access to advantage and resources. It is, okay? If you go and clean the freaking the cistern or whatever, you get food. Okay? You get food stamps, and that's a good thing. Okay? You get shirt.gov, shirt.gov, the only place to get your shirt. You're gonna get that as well. If you know where that is from, please send me a link for it. I love it. It's I'll see if anyone notices it.
I think it's important to clarify that all of these things are happening in a liberal system, and there are good things that can happen from lots of different modes of economic production and lots of different countries that can happen in a liberal capitalist system. But if we were to move to a fully socialist system, we could only do the good socialist things. You wouldn't have any of the good capitalist things. And I think that is problematic.
Okay, so at least he's arguing against the extremes. Okay. Hey, Theo! How you doing? See? Yeah, see? She did not be .gov, the only place to get your grub. No, that was shoot.gov is now available in grey. It is my favorite communist joke, really. And it's from Family Guy. Shirt.gov. Oh, Creamage Cripply. Creamage finished that song. Shirt.gov. Shirt.gov. The only place to get your shirt. I'm loopy today, guys. If you weren't here for the intro, you would have understood. Destiny argues for half pregnancy. That's fine. Yeah, he wants half pregnant. Kitty, you need to look at the 1980s Wendy's commercial about the East German fashion show. Really? Okay, we're gonna star that one. Maybe that'll be for Friday. Less freedom. Cool. So his last points is, okay, no to full socialism. Going full, a lot of good is done under a liberal capitalist system. Going full socialist would mean no good capitalists. No good capitalism effects, right? And he says we'll get the thing that he does say, which obviously is hilarious, is only good socialist effects. Which of course the rest of us are like, there are good socialist effects. If you're going full socialist, there are you're gonna run out of other people's money, essentially. Is next swimwear very nice. Ooh.
Okay. Is that your goal, Econoboi, to move to a entirely socialist system?
Yeah, I mean, I think that...
Oh my god, are you for real?
Again, I think that there's moral reasons to think that the socialist ideal of complete social ownership of businesses would be a good thing.
It was a good question, because remember, we were wondering that by the end of this whole thing. So, and great that Destiny gave us a jumping off point for that, or gave Whick a jumping off point for that. So, let's do this. Copy star. Is that your goal? I think we should say Wick's health bar is flashing, you know, like he's buffed with this question. Okay. Woo! It's flashing. Okay, he's got like an extra boost on his health bar. Okay, because he I know I said we weren't boosting, but he's doing nice. Okay, Econoboi. There was never any doubt. I really thought he wouldn't want that because he made arguments for, you know, you can't take the whole thing. It's flashing because he poisoned himself. Whick didn't poison himself, but because it's the same color. Okay, if it was purple, then he would be poisoned. Okay, he would be having a status effect. Okay, is your goal? Is that your goal, Econoboi? Full socialism system? Very good question. Stop getting things on you. Okay. Daisy, what's he, mama? You guys have an hour until dinner.
Right, that, you know, again, if we could, and this is something that I've said before, I think a kind of a typical argument that people will make against socialism is, oh, well...
Hold on, you said again? Yeah, I mean, I think there's moral reasons. Okay. Yes, moral reasons. For a total Socialist ideal. Okay. I can eat whenever I want. I'm a big boy. No, you're not. Accent do. They're not. Let's see. Daisy, come here. Daisy. I'm trying to get her to come here so we can use the cat cam.
You know, it looks great on paper, which
Okay, wait. Moral reasons for socialist idea. Ideal. It would be a good thing. If we could, this is something that I've said, I think a kind of typical argument. Okay, well, let's see.
Move to a entirely socialist system.
yeah, I mean, I think that there's moral reasons to think that the socialist ideal of complete social ownership of businesses would be a good thing, right?
Hey, 144, Olo!
That, you know, again, if we could, and this is something that I've said before, I think a kind of a typical argument that people will make against socialism is, oh, well, you know, it looks great on paper, which is to say, like, you know, intuitively, sure, like a totally egalitarian system looks great, but it just doesn't work, right? We just can't make it work for one reason or another. And I would say that, look, I mean, I guess I don't know, as we move through the process of like fully socializing the economy, exactly what it would look like when we start to get to 80, 85, 90% of businesses being collectively owned. But I think that there's strong reason to believe that we can at least get a great majority of the way there without these kind of huge deleterious effects on the economy. And
Okay, so he's good. He also brings in the on paper it's good. So on paper it's good. So we should do it. On paper it's good. So why not do it? Socialist ideal, moral reasons. On paper it's good. Not sure about once we get beyond what 90%, 80% social of businesses being collectively owned. Okay, so it's the same argument. Please tell me we get further than this, please. I wipe my butt on paper, so whatever's good on paper, yeah, exactly. Good one. Oh, fuck. Okay, just go back here.
deleterious effects on the economy. And at the end of the day, I'm not super stubborn about this. Like if we get to whatever, 75%, like we've replaced institutional private investors with institutional public investors, which is to say about 75% of the stock market and all this.
Okay, so he doesn't necessarily need it. Yes, it's good, but he wouldn't be would he be happy if we get to 75? Okay, so let's just go if we get, I'm just gonna put this 75, so it's one of his goals is get to 75% of the stock market. How do you get to 75% of the stock market? Do you just go, let's pick 75% of the companies on the stock market. Just pick them. What's the policy behind picking them? How does it go? Yeah, please go on. He's like, yeah, but if we get to 75, I mean that's pretty good. You know, we just get rid of those institutional wealth things, and then we're good. Okay, get 75% of the stock market. Is owned publicly, so it's we get to, what did he call it? I'm not super stubborn. Replace institutionalized private wealth, private investors with investors with institutional public investors. It'll be fine. So this is what Destiny's talking about, where it's like, no. People will point and say, well, we know what it looks like. We've got capitalists. Better the devil we know. Okay? We're okay with the institutional private investors because we know how those work. Which is, yeah, we're unhappy about it, but it will be worse.
Kind of stuff is owned publicly instead of privately. And all of a sudden, you know, we have this kind of like radically egalitarian system compared.
Hey, the USSR and China both had well over 75% of the businesses and wealth under government control. And now look how they had it. Well, why not?
to what we had
Cambodia was as close as you get to true socialism.
before with similar standards of living. I guess I'm just not so offended by that, right? But
Okay, as long as standards of living stay the same.
in our current system where we have just such a high level of inequality, wealth inequality, income inequality, and what I think to be pretty obvious solutions towards fixing that problem in pretty direct ways, and we can look at other examples of countries that have done that, we should certainly do it, because I think that most people have at the very least egalitarian instincts, and so we should move toward that direction, even if once we get there, it's like, oh, you know, we have to kind of make some sticky decisions on the edge.
He would love the UK. It feels like he would love the UK because what they kind of say with the whole immigrant crisis and things is, oh, well, so what if things get a little bit more expensive, you know? So what if things kind of change a little bit? You know what? It's worth it. So essentially, that whole mechanism of, you know, we might have to, you know, sacrifice, have certain sacrifices, it will be worth it. It's good. It's worth it because the inequality is so bad. Okay, so we don't care. It's just for the good of everybody.
I think that the bigger discussion is, should we move towards that direction, and what does moving towards that direction look like? Because certainly I think that we should, and certainly I think that there's a good way to move towards that direction.
I don't think we need to move towards that direction by arguing socialism. I think we can move to better life for all through, I suppose, as Destiny calls it, it's the liberal capitalist society. You're just asking for liberalism. This is not the way. Hey Davina, how you doing? Okay, so because certainly I think we should, and so we just should. There's nothing new in this argument, really. If you guys think I'm wrong, egalitarian, we should do it. Essentially, we should do it, and moral reasons, paper, it's good. Also, just there's a good way to move towards. What was it? I think the bigger discussion. No, sticky decisions. Okay, he called it sticky decisions. Some downsides, but that would be worth it. Some downsides. Sticky decisions. Who changed this keyboard? Sticky decisions. Okay. Whatever that means. It's okay, guys. The sticky decisions will be good ones.
Can I ask a question on this? I'm trying to hone in when you say moral reasons, okay? So my understanding is if you had a fully socialist society where all of the workers are owning all of their means of productions, that would basically do little, if anything, to address overall wealth inequality. No?
Inequality. No, we would all be equally poor. That's the point. It's the joke. It's like, it's too simple. Okay, so that's your goal. I'm going to go into another bubble because he's asking a main question. Destiny, we'll put Destiny's colors here. First, let's put this so we have the format. I'm commentating absolutely every thought in my head right now. You don't need to hear it. Okay, there you go. Okay. And he's saying, what do you mean? I'm just going to say, what do you mean by moral reasons? Okay. Okay, and we'll have Destiny say, socialism, full socialism. seemingly, he says, wouldn't address income inequality. Alright. Gotta go do stuff later, chillins. Thanks so much for chilling out, Emperor. See ya later.
Wouldn't you still have massive wealth inequality across different firms, even if not within different firms? So for instance, if there was like a cooperatively owned or socialist owned engineering firm, wouldn't all those people make way more money than the cooperatively owned janitorial cleaning services firm?
Nice, okay. He's like, well, fine. So you've created groups. Essentially, you've gone and said, here's all the groups. Instead of individuals being unequal, we'll just have we'll have equally, look, the joke is equally poor people, but it's like, well, some instances will be better than others. It's almost as if that happens across all things that are different. Okay, full socialism wouldn't address income inequality, different firms, wealth disparity with across firms rather than within firms. And his example is it's engineering, more wealthier than janitorial. Oh, but I wouldn't work at the janitorial. Don't think he's that stupid. He wouldn't say that. Than janitorial firm. What happens then? But I think he's gonna say no. Everybody has a share in all of the companies, probably.
Yeah. So I think it's important to maybe take a step back. So there's a lot of different ways to collectively own the means of production. Worker
I knew it.
ownership is just one of those ways. Now, I don't really favor a worker ownership model personally.
Okay, so he doesn't want to do worker ownership, okay? So his answer to this question, full socialism with there. So, step back with the collective ownership, the manner of collective ownership. Would, I suppose, solve this problem. I'm putting that there, solves this problem. Okay. Hey, J-Mac, how you doing? How's it hanging? Hey, Josh. Hey there, cats. Oh my goodness. Hey there, all you cats and kittens. Reminder that all cats are equal, but some are more equal than others. Better dead than red. Listen, my cats are more equal than your cats. I decided. Although right now they would say no, they are completely abused because they're not eating half an hour before dinner. Set up multiple cities around the world that are configured for different styles of government. People stay there for 100 years and we watch them find the best ways forward. Groovy! Why don't you write that story or make ChatGPT write it? I'm gonna tell Dorcas to go and write that story for us. Or what's it? If Lovett comes in, I'll tell her she's got some homework to do. J-Mac? Wait, J-Mac as well. Okay, so now J-Mac is also a creative powerhouse over here. Okay, so yes, he's created his tabletop game, right? Really, really massive thing. We are definitely going to be playing it when it comes out and all of that. But now your next project, J-Mac, is make a tabletop game that there are different cities that have different systems, they have different rules, and see how that works. Basically, I'm just like, take the idea and make it better. Just do that. Isn't that what's been happening? Look, it's because it's still complicated, because you still need to ask the people and the population their opinion and shit like that. It's not strict. We need it really to be, there is the socialist city, there's the capitalist city. But the thing is, you would need capitalism to build those cities, right? Then they battle each other, go to space and create the initial factions for whoever sci-fi story you like. Which countries don't allow people to leave or speak freely? Well, if you're a woman, it's very difficult to leave certain countries. Take the idea and make it better. That's just crazy enough to work. Yes, that's what I'm saying. You each look. When I played the Civilization game, it was a tabletop. I don't know what it was called, but it was a tabletop thing, and you had your own civilization. You had certain resources, certain skills, and things like that. And yes, you had to change your strategy according to what you could get from different cities, because your city specialized in something. Maybe you needed wood from this one, so you needed to have. It was actually, I'm really bad at these games because I'm just not a strategic thinker at all. So it takes me a while to get used to it. So that's I'm imagining that game, but the thing is, the rules really are different for each participant. If anything, just as a thought experiment, it would be fun. Australia. It's called North Korea. Sorry, Davina. I don't even consider it a country. People can't leave. Come here. Daisy, come here. Groovy can't leave Australia. Oh, sorry, Groove. Grave, you're on your own. Oh, it's coming for you. As a side note, we finally have our completed roster of Chronikin. I'll have to show them off to you sometime. When is sometime? Yeah, let's do it. We've got someone in. We've got Love It in for this week's Think. So would I be there for the next one? Let me just check, because I need to be there. This week's Think, next week's Think. We could do next week's Think if you have it. That would be cool. A tabletop game Think. If you could do that on the 21st. We're just organizing in chat. Sorry, guys. Mad Max was prequel to real life. Yeah, well, luckily I'm just too weak. I'd probably die before we get that far. So that's fine.
I tend to favor social ownership models through things.
Okay, sorry. So he doesn't want worker ownership. Worker ownership is one way, but don't favor it. Social ownership. So again, social ownership he calls it, right? A lot of different ways to collectively own means of production. Worker ownership is just one of these ways. I don't really favor worker ownership model personally. I tend to favor social ownership model. So everybody owns everything. That's what I don't know anything about socialist models beyond they're bad, and they immediately from the get-go it's about owning the means of production. There, I get it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't work. Now you've got your little worker ownership and your social ownership and whatever. It's still not going to work for the same principal reason. But here he's going to fix it. Okay. Let me finish. Okay, cool. We'll keep in touch then. Okay, I'll keep checking in.
Things like expansion of government services, which probably you and I would agree that some government services should be expanded, like public transit. Yeah. So I think it's important to maybe ownership model personally. I tend to favor social ownership models through things like expansion of government services.
Okay, so through things like, I love that, through things like expansion of government services. Shirt.gov, shirt.gov. Come on, government services. Okay, we're gonna get surf.gov. Okay, sorry. Paste style. Sorry. There you go. The only place to get your shirt. Daisy, you're gonna get your shirt from the government.
Which probably you and I would agree that some government services should be expanded, like public transit, healthcare systems, things like.
Okay, so example, transit, healthcare. What else? Things like that.
And then I think that the bulk of
shirt.gov, Sure.
of the market economy should be owned by these kind of publicly owned holding corporations and sovereign wealth funds.
Okay, so then he's just like, cool, by the way. Then it's sovereign wealth funds. And that will be managed perfectly. Sovereign wealth funds. And everybody, so I also want to know in this whole thing, compensation wise, how are we profiting? How is this all working? How are we compensating? Does everybody get this? We go UBR essentially, and we all get the same amount of credits. Okay, we get the credits, and everything is within reach. Gotta go pick up my car. Ciao, rigatoni, carbonara, buongiorno, my Italian cats. CSI Baringu. It's quite literally seize the means of production too. That's exactly it. It is. So he's saying he's doing the seize the means of production with many words here. So we got the expansion of government services is part of it, and then it's sovereign wealth funds is also we've seized it. We've seized it, and it's that everything continues working just as it was before we seized it as well. Okay, it's just now the sovereign wealth funds and what are they? The publicly owned corporations. So what everybody has a share. No, let's really go into this. Let's really see how we're going to do it. Give us the example. What would we do with Amazon? Okay, everybody owns. We give Amazon to the government, or well, no, everybody owns a share of Amazon. Just everybody. And when my baby is born, what do I do with him? Does he get does he get shares in Amazon too? What is the mechanism that we have to go into here? I'm sure the socialists have thought of this stuff. I'm literally just want to know what the actual Drunken Uncle is in my chat. Hey Drunkle! How you doing? No, are you serious? Somebody's using an alt account. That's not real. It's so good, guys. I hope you saw my my post about Drunken Uncle having a video recently. So I was so excited to get that notification. He's been streaming, but getting a video is great. He did a Sydney Sweeney video. Very, very cool. But yeah, if somebody's messing with me by impersonating Drunkle, that's not good. Glad to catch you live, but thanks so much. Yeah, we're busy seizing the means of production, etc., and we're trying to figure out how we're going to seize the means of production. So stay tuned. So yeah, we can seize American Eagle. Sydney Sweeney would not be able to own her own assets, essentially. Well, we don't have... This is what Destiny was talking about when he was saying we don't actually get the benefits of Daisy and Axel are fighting. We don't get the benefits of capitalism. So one of those things. Come on, we do need to address this. You don't get to be a brand. You don't get to make money like that off of your bazungas and all of that. No, it doesn't work unless you share all of your profits from your ad campaign. You have to share it with everybody. So the ins and outs need to be worked out here. I'd like to see Sydney's means of production, if you know what I mean. No, but seriously, he's like, on paper it sounds good. Yeah, well, let's put this down on paper. Okay? Oh, but publicly owned corporations. It's just, let's go into it. What do you mean by publicly owned corporations? Do we all register? As soon as you get an ID number, in your country, do you get shares? How many shares do you get? What happens when dividends are down? I don't understand. How do we work on this? Please enlighten me, Mr. Socialist.
which compete against each other similar to how current asset managers already do. And that
Oh, they compete. Oh, we're allowed to compete. Okay, cool. They compete. Sovereign wealth funds and publicly owned corporations. Competition. Just like they do now. Okay, but that is what Destiny was talking about. Okay, he was saying that, well, if you do have these, we have competition essentially between firms, won't we get, what do you call it? Won't we get this disparity? But he's like, no, if everyone owns it, then it's fine. It's all just maths, boys. As long as we just divide, it's fine. Seize the bazungas of production with both hands. Socialism wants the big cooperation family. It assumes we aren't selfish, egotistical, lazy, deceptive. We all would just work because everyone is working and no one would take advantage. Yes, you know what the wording is, Wade. We started off this discussion with the wording of everybody has equal access to advantage. That's what they called it. This is how they worded their thing. Socialist was like, explain. Okay, competition. They do their competition.
would create a hugely egalitarian distribution because public wealth is sort of necessarily horizontally distributed because the way that wealth is managed is one person, one vote, not necessarily one worker in one cooperative, one vote. I hope that makes sense.
Okay, so he's going. He did a little bit of jazz hands here. Let's go through it. This is why we have the transcript here. The bulk of the market economy should be owned by these kind of publicly owned holding corporations, sovereign wealth funds, which compete against. Then he goes, and that would create. It would create a hugely egalitarian distribution, which means everybody just gets everything, but no inequality. Because public wealth is sort of necessarily horizontally distributed because of the way that wealth is managed. Okay, so competition, just like they do now, egalitarian distribution. I'll say horizontal. The puns are just making themselves with bazungas of production. Horizontal, come on, I've given them to you. Egalitarian horizontal distribution of wealth. And sorry, what? Because everybody. It's one person, one vote. One vote, as opposed to one worker, one vote. Not necessarily one worker in one cooperative. Okay, one vote. Okay, let's see if I can draw this. Okay, we've got person one. We've got how many people here? Yeah, 2, 3. Okay, and what we've got, they would have, we're distributing, distribution of wealth, one person, one vote, as opposed to one worker, one cooperative. So usually we would get, we're not even using these health bars right now, but we should probably just take out Econoboi's one in order to make this drawing. I'm taking it all out. I'm trying to do it because as much as I love Xmind, it does not help. I'm not very good at free drawing with Xmind. Okay. Can you imagine how tedious and onerous voting for every single economic decision, every single day, every single industry? It's farcical. I'm hoping that that's what Destiny brings up because he already did do that. He did say earlier on his problem with socializing profits. Okay, he's like, yeah, socializing profits is great, but then you have to socialize decisions Okay? No. The funds will be managed like they do. They compete and whatever. And that'll be fine. That's what I'm thinking his response would be, is that, well, they're managed by... There are people that are leaders. Because I would also ask, how does this society work? Everybody is equal. We want equality. But part of the argument that is always given for why people get paid more than others is because of the amount of responsibility that they undertake and things like that. What is everybody actually doing with their time, and how much are they getting back for it? If everybody, you're telling me that there is this horizontal distribution, everybody gets the same back, and that's not gonna, apparently that's not gonna affect humanity. But anyway, he's talking about this, listen, noob here, not reading the socialist academia. So I'm trying to get it from him here. So we've got the one person. So we've got here we got a couple people. Okay, and we've got the wealth of what? This company. Oh, co-op, sorry. Co-op. Okay, and usually that would mean that we've got, that's how we distribute it, right? Cool. Alright, so then we've got co-op, and Destiny's upset because this co-op is gonna have more than the other co-op that's over there somewhere, right? Okay, so instead we're actually going to have all of the co-ops together. Yeah, all of them together. Another co-op, another co-op. All of them are going to be all together because there's workers in here as well. Sorry, these are workers. These were going to be workers in this previous one. Those circles, those were all workers. No. Now they're outside. They work in, maybe this one works in this co-op and this one works in this co-op. Doesn't really matter. They're actually getting a share of all of this. We take, sorry, I'm taking this. We take all of that. These lines here. And no, we get from here. We're just all taking from the same pot. So that's how it works. It's all fine. We'll all get the same. And that's not going to affect society. That's not going to affect the way people work. That's nobody. Everybody is pumping their estates. What do you mean? This is the beauty of diagramming. I was distracted and missed that part. Can you imagine how tedious? No, I'm saying, like, yeah, you missed it, and I was able to point it out to you. You know, the previous thing. So, yeah, let's see if we get into this voting decision. So, egalitarian horizontal distribution of wealth. One person, one vote, as opposed to one worker in one cooperative, one vote. So we get to own everything, boys. Okay?
Okay, so then so we're saying that the businesses are collectively owned, meaning that so employees could still like quit and go to other jobs or get education and training, go to other jobs. Does this mean that the government then would be basically collecting the excess in worker like in the value produced by the worker? The government would basically be the stand-in for the capital owner there?
Well, I mean, even Marx in his...
Oh, fuck. Answer the question. Hold on. So, look, we've got... This was moral reasons. We didn't get into the moral reasons because he said that, look, we're not going to get... So, this moral reasons is turning into a discussion about whether there's equality or not, right? About this. So, moral reasons... Is it really giving us equality? Okay. Okay. And Destiny's question here. I'm off to work. Take care of y'all. Go and don't seize the means of production. Just go out and seize the day. Oh, lovely. See you, Jay. Okay, so does that mean, so we're saying the businesses are collectively owned, meaning that so employees could still quit, okay? Businesses. Employees can still quit and go elsewhere. Yeah. So you do not have to work in the business that you own. Okay? You just have to be part of society. You just have to have, you can jump around in all of these co-ops. Okay? You can jump all the way. You can go from here to there, whatever. But you're always going to get, I think you should always get your money out, right? You should always get your money out. I need to actually just get the whiteboard app and do it. Right? You just get your money out. It doesn't matter. So, and now he's saying the excesses. So what? When somebody leaves, there's excesses from what that person produces. Okay, elsewhere. Our collectively owned employees can quit and go elsewhere. The government, does that mean the government would sorry, actually his question comes from this. Would the government collect the excess? In the value produced by the worker. Alright. I want to, in this analogy, the increased value, the excess value is what if they got more skills, if they got more skills and went elsewhere, the increase in value. So if they got, is that what you're talking about? Collect the excess in value produced by the worker? Because no, in my understanding of his fantasy here, whoopsie, there is no there is, woo, did we lose everything? Hello? Are you for real? What happened? Okay, fine, I have to redo my shit. Because I was too busy, I clicked something funny. Okay, his question is, fuck's sake. Businesses collectively owned, workers can move. Move to different co-ops and upskill. Would the government, hey love it, working on some coffee? Ooh, that's nice. I'm gonna have to, I'm on green tea, so it stains your teeth just as much as coffee. Would government be collect excess value produced by that worker? I don't like that we have to go into that. Because in his analogy, before I fucked up my whole diagram, in his analogy, okay, he is supposed to, this worker moving doesn't matter, okay? The worker moving over there doesn't affect anybody, because even if that company makes more money, okay, so if worker A moves from company A to company B, and company B makes more money, it's just still evenly distributed outward. Everybody gets it. Everybody gets that excess value. This is what I'm understanding from his fantasy here. Hey, Dennis. Hi. Hello. Okay. Would collect excess produced by that worker. That's how I'm understanding his question, is that this upskilled worker that moves creates excess production.
Critique of the Gotha program said that the worker is not entitled to the entire surplus.
Yes, I do go for rooibos. I love a rooibos, but for caffeine purposes, I go for red green tea. I've got a lot of rooibos though. Rooibos is for later on in the day or evening.
Value that they create, that you need money to be set aside for.
Does this mean that the government then would be basically collecting the excess in worker, like in the value produced by the worker? The government would basically be the stand-in for the capital owner there?
Well, I mean, even
Why is it capitalism versus socialism? Why not just mix both? Well, Dennis, that actually seems like the ultimate that Destiny wants to get to, or talking about. He's like, he did eventually ask, like, eventually they got to this question, like, why do you want this full socialism? It's because the mix is not good enough. There's still too much inequality. We want to talk about socialism versus, we don't want any inequality, therefore we have to always fight for socialism. So I blame the socialists. Yeah, true, no caffeine in Rooibos, but I love it too. It's beautiful. Hey Gabriel, we already do mix them. Because then you get the NHS. Yeah, there you go. How's that going for you guys?
Marx, in his critique of the Gotha program, said that you.
Oh no. Okay, so we've got, would government collect excess value produced by the worker? So no direct answer there, right? He said
the worker is.
The government would. Well, I mean, even Marx in his critique. Okay, so by the way, out of nowhere, this is the visual thing, right? So if he answered the question, his block would go here, right? But his block goes here. In response, he goes, Marx critique of Gotha program. And you know what? Let's put our little symbol in here for citation. Okay. Entire surplus value. The worker is not entitled to the entire surplus value they create. Okay. Entire surplus they create. Okay, there needs to be a collection. Okay, so we need to have a little bit of a, are you gonna say there's a bit of a taxation here? What's happening?
Not entitled to the entire surplus value that they create, that you need money to be set aside for things like administration, welfare payments, and I think he also said, like, essentially capital rotation, like reinvestments in capital, right?
Okay. Marx critique work is okay, so we've got the surplus they create. We need extra money put aside. So I think he's answering yes. The government takes the excess value. He is answering yes. Okay, so well, we can put it there. Okay, money put aside for admin, reinvestment. What else? Accomplishing goals. Okay, cool. Social ownership model. Okay, the social ownership model that's gonna fix everything, guys. If we just all own the thing together. Capitalism is lonely. Why are we still discussing the death of communism? Yes, because communism never died. That's exactly it. That is exactly it.
And so similarly, right, by having a social ownership model, we're essentially accomplishing all of those goals at once, where the worker is returned a substantial portion of...
It's a substantial portion, don't you see? They get a substantial portion.
...the value that they create, because obviously workers still enjoy the fruits of the government's services and welfare payments and, you know, UBI or whatever we use, the capital.
Okay, they still get something significant. Okay, cool. So it's fine. They still get something significant. Social ownership gives the worker a substantial portion through services, government services, UBI, however we do it. Okay. I'm still wondering how the maths. I'm still trying to figure out how this is. We just divide it all equally, or what? It just seems like it just won't work.
Income for,
because you need to how do you not elevate one person above another ever in anything?
But
how do you compensate? Okay, we're only going to do UBI. Well, I'm a level 2 UBI. Okay, you're a level 1 UBI. I'm a level 2. No. We're still equal, but I'm going to be a level 1. I want to know. I mean, I know there's proper economists that have done this research and stuff, but normies are not busy with that stuff. We're busy with Destiny versus Econoboi.
It also goes to those other things that Marx identified as important as well. You know, just general welfare payments for people who can't work. I think he identified the elderly and
Oh yes, because remember, guys, welfare, just like we know, just like we've seen it, you know, welfare just goes to the people that need it. Okay, nobody does anything to make themselves need it. It's fine. Nobody. But listen, that critique of the system is like, oh well, any system can be gamed. So that doesn't mean I must now throw out the whole system just because somebody can exploit it. So I caught you there, Chinsia. I caught you doing it, but still, it's very. He's acting as if that's not going to occur. Social ownership, cool. We've got the UBI, elderly people. So we've got general welfare payments. Welfare for those who can't work. I'm sorry, I forgot about those people that actually will not work. And how we're gonna have to deal with them and the value they produce. Okay.
people like that as well. And of course, the government can also make public investments with that money as well.
Public investments. We invest. Invest. What is the cost of things? What is the cost of things when people are on a UBI? What is the cost of anything when we're doing this thing? That's what I want to know. Like, take me down to the ground level of the everyday life of how a business is run in this manner. He's like he's using these capitalistic, profit-driven discussions as if they exist within this world, within this system. They still exist somehow. How does that work if you're doing this wealth, this absolute horizontal distribution? How does it work? How do you cost shit? How do you price anything? You can't divide by zero. Communism proved this in every country. No, I really want to know. Somebody tell me this. Like, how do you cost things in this kind of business? Goes to those other things, and I'm not going to ask AI because AI is as good at maths as I am, which is not very good.
Okay, so I'm trying to just understand. So, like, administration fees, I wouldn't consider this like
Why is there an administration fee?
capital owner, right? So when I think of capital, I think of, for a business, you are deploying you're deploying your capital, and then you're deploying your labor, and then when the labor interacts with the capital, the labor is creating some value, and then when that product is like sold to some consumer, some money goes back to the cost of the business, but there's an excess at the top after administrative fees, after everything else, and that excess at the top would go to the capital investor. And I'm just trying to understand. So in this,
Yeah, the profit, the net would go to the capital investor. Oh, but we all own the capital investment, right? Has Destiny ever worked the job? He's old enough to have worked the job, yeah.
state, you would have the capital investor, the capital owner. The owner class is just replaced by the state, right?
At least a normal common job. Maybe he didn't have a career. He used to work at a casino. Okay. Seen the excesses of capitalism. Hold on. Okay, so I need to now see how I can diagram this because it's okay. All of that is his response to this question. So excess value produced by the work. I'm trying to understand. So he's still on the same point. Okay. Yeah, let's go back to this one. Okay, I actually go right all the way back here. I'm trying to understand administration fees. I would consider capital owner. So when I think of capital, I think of a business you are deploying. Okay, so let's go. He goes. I need this actually to be visual more than words. A business. Okay. Capital plus what? Plus worker deploying a capital, and then your labor. Okay, and then the labor interacts with the capital equals value. Okay. Okay, then we go. Next one. Next line would be value. Okay. Oh, sorry. So value product. Okay. Okay. Then the product is sold. Product goes to the what? The consumer. And that equals, some money goes back to the cost of the business, so it equals some profit, okay? Not the net profit, but hey, okay? Then the profits has to go back, profit minus what costs, okay? Of the business, but there's an excess at the top after administrative fees, and so the net goes to the gross. Sorry, wow, I've forgotten my terminology, guys. The last time I did anything about economics was in like grade school, grade 9. Yeah, gross goes to the capital. The capital investor. Okay, then what's your question based on that? Creating some value, and then the product goes sold to some consumer. Some money goes back to the cost of the business. There's an excess at the top, and then what? It goes to government.
Excess at the top, after administrative fees, after everything else, and that excess at the
Close enough. I should hope so. That's as close as I need to get.
top would go to the capital investor. And I'm just trying to understand. So in this state, you would have the capital investor, the capital owner. The owner class is just replaced by the state, right?
Instead of capital investor, it would be the state. And his question is, in this case, capital investor is the state. Okay, so it just goes back to the state. Oh my god, and then it's fine, it works. He is trying to understand this. Again, he has to keep saying this because in terms of debate, bro, some people might go, oh, well, you said it. It's like, no, he's just trying to understand. Blocked for hosting Destiny. I'm not hosting him. Mommy, how is value made? Well, darling, when a capital owner and a laborer love each other very much. Josh. Well, if we still had the laugh bars, I would make the chat laugh bar start sparkling, because that's a great one.
Yeah, the capital owners would be the public at large, right? So again, I think that...
Okay, so he's saying no. The public at large. So this group called the government, not actually owning it. It's the public at large. Just the whole... There is a big bank account, and everybody has access to it. And they have a certain withdrawal limit, and that's it. I suppose. We all just have this big pool of resources that we can draw from. And we all get the same amount. And we'll all be happy.
Marx, obviously, a lot of in Marx's writings, he's a little bit vague. Obviously, he recommended at some points in his life...
Why are we still referring just to Marx, guys? Like have we not evolved past this? You've started talking about, stock markets, okay, how we can evolve, and it's on a spectrum and this kind of thing. Are we only still on Marx? We only are. We don't have anything else. Okay.
Placed by the state, right?
Yeah, the capital owners would be the public at large, right? So again, I think that Marx, obviously, a lot of in Marx's writings, he's a little bit vague. Obviously, he recommended, at some points in his life, he recommended state ownership, but it seemed like there was a cooperative...
We don't have to do that in your system. Talk about your system.
Cooperative ownership model, maybe in the mature part of his life. At the end of the day, though, I'm just saying that, number one, I don't think that Marx...
So I'm just going to put Marx... Again, we got the Marx citation. Marx's various opinions on who is the ownership. Marx obviously writings, he's a little bit vague. Recommended at some point in his life state ownership. Yeah. So on ownership. Cool. But what is your opinion? Okay. Cool, they come from Marx, I suppose. But which one do you like is the best one?
Marx is like a definitive view of what socialism is, but even to the extent that he is, I think that the spirit of this, where the worker receives a great portion of the value that they create,
A great portion.
set aside for the rest of society things like administrative expenses, capital investment, and welfare payments. I think that the spirit of that is accomplished with a social ownership model as well. And of course,
See, this is where myself as a moderator, my ignorance would take over. Okay, so I would be asking this person to make the sense for me, and that would be too much actually interaction. As a moderator, I suppose, because I would be really trying to understand his model here. Okay, and maybe it would be better to just have him one-on-one and not in a debate format to understand what his model is and how it works before, otherwise me asking him these questions would come off as me arguing against him and criticizing him. But I really want to know what he thinks, how he thinks this is going to work. I would like him, and I would want Destiny to ask him this, at least as the opponent. Get him to answer these questions about his system, because it does seem a bit, again, it just seems a bit half-baked. Like you're not thinking about the practicalities.
like administrative expenses, capital investment, and welfare payments. I think that the spirit of that is accomplished with a social ownership model as well. And of course, to the extent that maybe some Marx historian would just say, no, Econoboi, you're totally wrong and misinterpreting Marx, it's like, well, whatever, my system's much more egalitarian, so that's why I prefer it.
He's repeating his whole argument. It's my system's more egalitarian. It doesn't matter. Like I said, it doesn't actually matter what Marx said. What is your system, Econoboi? Okay. The spirit of this accomplished social ownership model they create, but okay, set aside. Yeah, he's just saying the worker gets a great portion of the value they create. That's the argument again. I would have, if we had the life bars out, I would have removed it now, because he's just repeating his argument. There's nothing new here. We've gotten this question. It will work, is all he said. It will work. He's not gone into how it works. Nothing.
Sure. So I'm not trying to figure out what Marx. I'm just trying for your personal, just so that we can understand. I guess you would advocate for personally. So
yes, exactly. Personally. So leave Marx out of this.
And we're saying that okay, so just going back to understand. Well, I don't know if Marx agrees or disagrees, but okay. You're replacing the capital owner of a business with the state, essentially.
No, not with the state. With people.
With the government, right?
Yeah, ultimately the state would be the owner of the shares in some complex system, but it's managed through these kind of holding corporations and sovereign wealth funds.
Okay. Oh no, ultimately the state now. Okay, so he just re-asked his question. Okay, is the capital investor of the state? Then he goes, another answer he gives is the government. So the government placing the capital owner of businesses with the state, essentially, is what you're doing. Ultimately, the state would be the owner. State owns shares in the system, but it's managed through shares, but they are managed through these through holding corporations, and again, just wealth funds. So the state has ownership, and then the management does. Okay, so let's see. Wow. And again, I want to go right down to the people of this. How is this actually run? Structure it for me. Draw it. Give me an organizational chart.
Okay. So the state has ownership, and then the management. Does the state, like, you don't have to be like hyper specific here, but I was trying to understand
I want him to be hyper specific.
what the managing structure, I guess, would look like. So it's not the state making the decisions; it's the holding companies, or.
Okay, so he's asking from this. Again, come on, let's go into your model, yeah? Go Destiny. Okay, it's not the state. Also, sorry, I want to know, who is the state? How is the state? how do we manage the state? What are the abilities of the principal of the president? What are his duties? What are his abilities? All of that, because you're now redefining what everything how everything works from scratch. I want to know. But he's like, no, well, we eventually, if we just transfer it over, it's going to have it's all interconnected. That's why it's so difficult to change. But no, it's fine. If we just seize the means of production, it'll be fine. Begging the question, who controls the management corporations? It's just humans. In what state is the state? What's the state of the state? Exactly, wait. Okay, state shares managed through holding corporate. Magical holding corporations. Just imagine the sparkling noise every time he says this. It's also, by the way, I need to just check my messages because I'm just thinking of, I don't know why, I just thought of things being delivered. My Amazon, today's the 12th, right? Tuesday. A signature is required. Well, better not be just sitting outside my door. Okay. Anyway, we've got shared, what does he say? So, he wants to know the management structure. It's not the state making decisions, it's the holding companies. Holding companies make decisions. Not the state make decisions. Yeah, this already, it doesn't matter, considering Destiny's earlier question or earlier comment of, hey, this is, what's it, the whole thing of socializing decisions is not going to work. That's the problem. Oh, but now we're going to put it into holding companies. Okay, who manages the holding companies? Is it going to be individuals? What is the compensation of those individuals? Is it exactly the same as everyone else? Cool. Fine. And we're just, again, we're going into the very ideal world.
Yeah, so I think that these things should be kind of technocratically managed. You mentioned that people should really focus on that kind of decision-making process, and that was a large part of what the third part of my Substack was about, is like, how do these capital
Ooh, his Substack. We got to read that.
allocation decisions get made, as inspired by this book that I read, The Public Wealth of Nations. And so,
Okay. As inspired by the public wealth of nations. We've got so many books we got to read, boys. We add it to the list. It's not going to happen unless I just stop doing everything else, which I kind of often want to do. Just sit and just read and not speak to anybody ever again. Okay, holding companies, not the state, make decisions. Technocratic. He just used, oh, I suppose it's another sparkly word, guys. Technocratic managing. Okay. Really focus on what kind of decision-making process and that large part. You just said a lot of meh, meh, meh. Now tell me about the decision-making process. We need to focus. This guy would make a great CEO. We need to focus on that decision-making process. Okay. There was a large part of what the third part of my Substack was. Cool. Capital allocation decisions get made as inspired by this book. Okay. So essentially what I recommend is that the way the public should manage its wealth is it should be these competing holding, so they can compete, but you're not telling me.
essentially what I would recommend is that the way that the public should manage its wealth is it should be in these competing holding corporations, which are capitalized initially by the state.
Okay, So we've got technocratic management, and then we've got competing holding. You know what? I'm gonna put this here. It's all part of his art. He's got to connect the dots for me. At the moment, it's just here's the keywords that he's using. Competitive holding companies, capitalized initially by the state. Okay, so the state funds these things, and then they're gonna go off and just be productive, like the rest of capital, like capitalism.
One way or another, however the state gets its money to capitalize the funds. These funds would then be managed by professional investment managers, kind of
Managed by professional investment managers. Again, I'm asking you. So you're still expecting the system to work as capitalism does, but you're gonna just, it's still managed. So there's capitalism down at the bottom, but at the top is socialism. You're still assuming that things just work the same. I love this. Like, oh, they manage. What do you mean manage? Oh, we see which one's going to be more profitable. So apparently the markets just behave normally. They behave like free markets. It's still, I'm interested in that. Honestly, Gad, has he written something about this? Gad Sad, has he written about that? I'll read him explaining it to me. But maybe the Wealth of Nations is going to explain it to me. The public wealth or whatever it is.
At arm's length from the state. You can think of it sort of like the Federal Reserve, right? Where the Federal Reserve is kind of this like quasi.
Sorry. Where the state gets its money, capitalize the funds. These funds would be managed by professional investments. Just, okay. Funds managed by professional investment. Okay. Investment managers. So our investments move around, right? Because an investment manager, what they're doing is that they're putting money into different corporations so you can get money back when they are profitable. Yes, that's the point. Okay. Managed by professional investment managers, kind of at arm's length. Who is buying and who is selling stocks in these investments? How is that going? I understand that it might just be my ignorance of economics here, but I will need you, as a normie, to explain that to the normie. Explain like I'm 5, please. I'm not going to take your word for granted as it's the truth, just because, oh well, I don't understand it, so I might as well just believe him.
Independent private agency type situation, but it's more technocratically managed.
I just used the magic word technocratic. Okay. Hey, being a professional capitalist is an option in socialism. I guess I have just the most people in capitalists, and you have a perfect socialist society. What if you just have a lot of capitalists? Yeah. Most people need to be capitalists in a good social society. We're good. That's the normie. Being a professional capitalist is an option in socialism. You can just be a professional capitalist. Just have most people be capitalists and you have a perfect, yeah, that would work. Because we would have capitalism. Such benefit, much. Technocracy is just being smart. Okay. So just instead of, I don't know, the power of Christ, we just have technocracy. Is that what you're telling me? Technocracy. Metrocity. Just make good decisions and avoid bad ones. Oh, Gabriel, I'm so glad you told me that. We'll just do that. Just be good and not bad. Okay, so we'll be managed. They're professional investment managers. They're professional. Okay? He's thinking of the ones that exist now. That's why he's using this. He's not starting this society from scratch. He's using, the Wolf of Wall Street Okie or whatever. That guy. He's going to use them. Professional investment, kind of at arm's length from. So we've got the arm's length as well. By the way, at arm's length. This is bull dust, guys. Come on now. Okay. At arm's length from the state means it won't be corrupted by the state. The funds would then be managed. You can think of it as the Federal Reserve is kind of this quasi-independent private agency type situation, but it's more techno. Okay, Federal Reserve. It's like Federal Reserve, but with technocracy. Technocratically managed. Okay, cool. I don't know, man. Econoboi for president. Let's go. Let's change the world.
Do that same kind of similar structure, but with all these different competing holding corporations that operate independently from each other, but are ultimately owned by the state. And
okay, so they operate independently from each other, but they're owned by the state. Okay, so they do the similar structure with all these different competing holding corporations because they still compete. We still compete from other, but are ultimately owned by the state. And then as they allocate that capital, you're just saying shit. Yeah, this is what I'm not.
right, where the Federal Reserve is kind of this like quasi-independent private agency type situation, but it's more technocratically managed.
Okay.
Do that same kind of similar structure, but with all these different competing holding corporations that operate independently from each other, but are ultimately owned by the state.
So they operate independently, and they're okay. So all of those, sorry, the holding companies, corporations operate independently and compete, but are owned by the state. Okay, like Destiny did ask, would there be winners or losers? Does the state choose? The state doesn't. At the arm's length. Okay, so we just use the arm's length rule, and that changes everything.
And then as they allocate that capital and
allocate, we just allocate. Okay, so just as they allocate, I'm gonna actually use his words. As they allocate that capital, because we just move it around. Okay, I'm actually asking how the markets work. Like if we are not ourselves earning our own money in this capitalistic manner, how are the markets, how are purchasing decisions made? How is all of this working? If we're going to change things from the top down, tell me how it's going to be at the bottom as well. Like, explain this to me, like I'm 5.
the returns from that capital kind of trickle up to them.
Trickle up. Okay. As they allocate that capital, returns will trickle up. Again, I want to know about the returns, how these returns occur. Okay. Trickle up. Okay, we got that. Okay, so it seems like trickle up is all okay. Trickling up is fine. And then everyone stops working.
They would dividend out part of that to the state directly, and then they would use part of that to reinvest in other businesses and other entrepreneurial activity.
Okay, they reinvest.
Similar to how private asset managers do today.
Okay, so basically, instead of private asset managers, you're using public asset. Yes, it's so great. It's so great when we have others just investing the entire population's funds. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we just have that. Like, ask. How does that? Okay. No. You know what? We're gonna trust all the people. Okay. We're gonna trust these wealth managers to do what's best for everyone as well. But I mean, no. He's saying that. Destiny himself said we can imagine this idealized version, and it's okay. Trickle up. What? Management of the management is like similar to private asset management today. please, Destiny, please ask about the bottom, like ask about the market, about all of this.
The how are they initially capitalized by the state?
We steal everything from everybody. Okay. So here he's he's gone straight to this thing here, and he said, right, how are they capitalized initially? You just have to swallow this pill. I should hope that his answer is, okay, I don't know what you guys think, but I would think that his answer is expropriation. We all agree that we're going to take it away, right?
Like, how would a state decide? Like, oh, like there's 5 firms that do stuff. I guess. Yeah. How does that?
Yes, that's what I said. Because you said again. What is wrong with why am I sitting here agreeing with Destiny? But because we're talking about freaking socialism versus capitalism, that's why. So it should, like I said, he said, oh, he'll be okay with 75% of the stock market essentially being made public, belonging to the state. How do they choose this? Do they just 75% of it? You know what I'll take? I'll take that X. I'll take that Tesla. I'll take that. I'll take that Nvidia. Let's do that.
I recommend a path in the same Substack that I referenced. So there's 3.
No, don't say it in the same Substack. You don't need to tell me about the Substack. Tell me what you've said. I don't need to. Look, I'm going to read the Substack. But we are in a conversation here. You're going to have to tell us what you've said in your Substack.
3 main ways. So number 1 is the state already owns, unbeknownst to it, a lot of public wealth. Dag Detter in the Public Wealth of Nations book, he estimates that basically because the state just has really poor system of accounting, the state already owns about 1 times GDP worth of public assets.
Okay, so the state already owns public assets. Okay. Already owns 1 times GDP of public assets. Good to know. Because the guy in the book estimated it. Cool. Because of poor accounting. Poor accounting, isn't it basically because of the state just has really poor system of accounting? They already do. We don't know this. Okay, cool. And that's number 1. So they already own it. Cool.
They just don't account for them properly. And so what a lot of states have done, both in relation to Dag Detter's work, but then in opposite to that, is they've just.
Sorry, I need to put the citation in. What's its Dag whatever his name? Dag D book. The Wealth of Nations, the Public Wealth of Nations. Okay, state already owns it. Okay, cool.
Accounted for their current public assets and spun them off into these holding corporations to be managed entrepreneurially. The state just realizes, oh, we own a lot of real estate. Oh, we have all these SOEs that we don't really account for properly. We have all these kind of like state, kind of quasi-state service companies that we run. Let's put those into a commercial bucket, holding corporation. Professional investment managers allocate that capital, run it professionally. So that's one way.
Oh, so already what they own, so what they currently own just gets put in. Okay, kiddos are up and hungry. Hope everyone has a good day. Enjoy, love it. We'll see ya on the Think. Confirmed. Okay, so how would you spend your days in the non-bread line? I'm in the job line today. Okay, so doesn't know this. It would take all of this, take all of that and put it into a commercial bucket and have it managed by the professionals. Corporations create wealth, government steals wealth. Yeah, professional, by professional managers. Okay. Run it professionally. That's one way. Okay. Okay, so they already own it. Sorry, this is not blue. This is red. Of course it is. Okay, here.
Another way is
Wait,
with the
first thing,
central bank.
having wealth. So wealth, broadly speaking, can include things like capital. You can invest like capital. If we're not talking money, like just because you might have like a state ownership of a bunch of utility companies or power plants, doesn't mean you can just invest that. Because
I'm gonna invest that. So he has a problem with this stuff that they own, right? So his qualm here is, sorry, you can't invest ownership of a plant, say. Oh, well, we sell the power plant.
that's represented by like physical capital, not like just money, right?
Yeah. It's a mixture of things, right? So it's physical capital. The public at
Oh, it is.
large, the most poorly accounted for assets in a public portfolio are typically real estate assets. Municipal buildings, rights of way, public lands, things like that. And so what you would do is you'd put all that capital into a single portfolio. This would
All that he's just wow, he's just said to you that I need it to be money, I need it to be liquid, right? I need it to be not just assets. You can't just say, okay, it's now capital. So it's like, no, we'll put that ownership into a commercial bucket. I suppose he's like, then we can sell that property and it'll become money, right?
be worth about $29 trillion. Some of those assets, like you said, wouldn't be commercial. They'd be like state parks or, municipal buildings that are currently in use. It's like, well, we're not going to like use these for a for-profit purpose. But for all those assets that we now discover and that we would want to put.
Okay, so we just have other assets. So it's like, yeah. There would still be capital is essentially what he's saying. There would still be money, like beyond the physical capital. Other assets, okay? Other assets you could put, okay?
Hello? Is this me or him?
Got him.
Got him. Yeah, I would bow out after saying that. You just ownership of assets like a power plant. Like so what are you telling me that we're gonna invest the power plant in Starlink?
$14.5 trillion. Then you could take all of that. Oh, Whick, is everything okay?
Okay, so he's got other assets, so we'd have to take all of that. Just there's enough.
Oh yeah,
You're good.
you froze for a minute and we were like,
Oh, okay.
Did I lose?
Um,
Okay, go ahead.
yeah, you can take all of those real estate assets and then say, okay, well, let's just start developing them, right? And so
Oh, we can just develop them. Okay. So other assets also develop the real estate, the free real estate. We're gonna have house.gov, the only way to get your house.
So part of that could be real estate development. It could be selling that off and investing in equities, just kind of generally building the wealth of society. That's just one way.
We're selling it. So there's an exchange of wealth though when we sell things, yes? So there's an exchange. We sell stuff off. Where does that go? When we sell something. Who does it go to?
Wait, hold on. Okay, I'm just trying to understand this for the first thing because I'm super confused. Okay, so it's
Same. Please ask the question I want you to ask.
kind of like we were saying. So I'm trying to figure out like how do you capitalize these initial public holding corporations? So like where do they get their money from initially? And then it sounded like the answer was, well, there is actually a whole bunch of wealth that exists.
Well done with Destiny. Destiny here is doing active listening. And by saying this is what your answer is, I asked you this and now I'm going to tell you what you told me. This is how I've understood your answer.
This in the United States is actually not accounted for right now, which I agree is actually a weird problem. We talk about GDP, but we don't actually know the nation's wealth. Like what is the total public accounting of all the assets? And then you say, well, there's a lot of these things that exist out there that aren't accounted for very well. And so we could have a better accounting of them. It's like, okay, but when we have that better accounting of them, we're not talking about money sitting in bank accounts. We're talking about,
No, there's enough, Destiny. You're not understood. Okay, that when we do have the accounting. Okay, so also, by the way, I'll just put by the way over here, agrees agrees there is a lot to account for. Okay, so once we have the accounting, right, you're not understanding. Yes, there's going to be the real estate, but there's also other money. That's money. Okay, so it's fine. That was his answer.
The stuff that capital is allocated to that it buys. So like power plants or
So
real
just to
estate or
simply
whatever.
answer your question, they would be sold for money, or they would be
They would be sold for money.
developed directly, right?
How would they sell it? But if we're talking about a model where we're moving to public ownership of all these things, who are you selling it to?
Look, what's the answer? What is the answer? Who are you selling it to? Develop the real estate and or sell the assets, right? The question is, what? Who do you sell it to? And it's okay. This is for the progression, right? You see, don't worry. I know what the answer is going to be, right? Because he says, no, we're just transitioning. So this will be the initial way that it happens. So by selling it, okay, we get money. And from capitalism. So we get it from the old world, we get that money. This is what I think his answer will be. Okay. Destiny can finance it. No, yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, you have to transition from one system.
You see? I actually understand what he's trying to do. I understand, so I know his answers. Wow. Okay.
To another through some deliberative process, right? So currently they would be sold to like a bunch of different private investors or other.
It's okay. It's okay. So it's a transition period, so it's fine. It doesn't matter. So it would be sold to private people. Private, what are investors? Or other state investors, just other state investors, he says here. Listen to this. Well, I mean, you have to transition from one system to another through some deliberative process, right? So currently they would be sold to a bunch of different, whatever, private investors or other like state investors who would want to invest in those. Okay. And other, I love other, okay, other state investors that are interested. Okay. The caterpillar becomes a butterfly. We're transitioning. I just woke up. Okay. We're transitioning from capitalism to beautiful socialism. Welcome.
Investors who would want to invest in those, like, oh, we want to buy this real estate, we'll exchange it for cash, and then the holding corporation can take that cash and then do other development activities, invested in public equities, just do entrepreneurial investing and
just do the stuff, just make the money grow. So we when we sell it, it's the initial, it's the starting capital. We get the starting capital for our socialism from capitalism. You see what I'm saying? It works, and it's fine. From there, we start socialism, but we also use capitalism to make more money with the socialism. I'm still wondering. I still don't understand. Okay, still don't understand how your market is going to work if everybody owns everything. But I'm gonna have competitive firms that are managed at arm's length. They're owned by the state, but they're at arm's length.
Balance sheet management, just like any of these other asset managers do. And then through that process, they would accumulate capital.
Oh, they get capital. So the state investors, and then again, he's repeating himself. Then they manage. They do entrepreneurial, magic, entrepreneurial. What did he say? Entrepreneurial investing. The investing and balance sheet management. And balance sheet management. Ooh. We balance sheet manage and we invest entrepreneurially. And then therefore accumulating capital. which we can just keep on inflating, guys. We just make more money. Hello? I don't understand what you're not getting. I think Wick is even like,
I just, the examples that we're giving here, can you give me a couple examples of things that you would, that seems like a horrible idea. Hold on.
Sorry, you're making me drunk laugh. That sounds like a horrible idea. No. It's not that it sounds like a horrible idea. It sounds like it doesn't work, even, at all. Like, a horrible idea is like, oh, the results are bad. No, it sounds like it doesn't make sense, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm... Where are we at? How many even freaking minutes have we done here, guys? We're at 25. Look at that. That's because... most of the beginning was... Oh god, we can't do this whole thing. Eventually they go into a whole bunch more. But, I suppose they go to the post-debate. It's an hour and a half. Okay, do they finish off 2 hours? My god. Okay. Let's see how far we get with this week. I don't think this is a finisher, boys. I don't think so. But I do need to get going. Basically, let's do a summary. Kitty, study venture capitalists next. Cool. Can I get a venture capitalist to study me and be like, you know what? Yeah, she's worth millions. And then, yeah. Make it cents, dollars and cents. Yep. It is failing now because of the mass immigration. Exactly. Davina says, socialism in the Scandinavian countries only worked because they were wealthy, productive economies. It's failing now because of mass immigration. Yes, they are also all... You have a very varied population now. How do you make a small fortune? Start with a very large fortune. Interview a venture capitalist. Okay, I'll just find one, you know. Just, you know what, I am in Dubai. I'm sure there's lots of them here. And be like, and basically it'll be like, the Explain Like I'm 5 show. We're just gonna give you the rules from arm's length that bankrupt your company and just have to figure out how to keep it going. Just everything will be fine. Nobody will go out of line. It's fine. We can help. Who knows one? Yeah, I'm sure. Go and find one. Right. So, this has been eye-opening. Maybe instead of the debates, although I want to see more moderation from Wick. Wick is a good listener. He's just listening in. They haven't gotten very heated because really Destiny is asking the right questions or asking enough questions to just get this guy's idea out. I like the way it's going with Destiny so far. He really is asking, just trying to get this idea so that we can then argue against it. It's not him sitting and waiting or expecting this guy's argument and giving the counter argument. He's like, you explain your harebrained idea to me, and I'll argue along by asking questions. You're doing the shit for yourself. So anyway, his whole idea for socialism. Okay, we had the definition question. Very good. Very happy about it. Sorry, let's unfold everything. Okay, first, well, actually, we'll fold to give us a summary. We had questions from the discussion was led by Wick, of course. And he goes, when you say you're a socialist, what does that mean? So he asked that question of Econoboi to start off, and then that would be his opening statements. Essentially, he explains what socialism is. Socialism is just, okay, giving people the means of production and everybody being equal, essentially. And the reason that this is the better model is because it's more egalitarian. That's the TLDR of his idea. Okay, why is capitalism a superior system compared to Econoboi's socialism? That's what Destiny is supposed to answer. He doesn't exactly answer it. He just actually goes into what's wrong with Econoboi's one, because Econoboi was trying to say that yeah, well, basically we just let everybody, just let the people own everything. And he has several questions about that, being, well, then how do we make decisions? It seems like, he makes the example, it seems like we would need a combination, or not a combination, we would need liberal capitalism, not socialism. That would be a better thing to do, because we get the benefits of capitalism and the benefits of socialism, instead of just the benefits of socialism, which, again, I don't think we get them ever, but fine, if we're going to assume that. Then we get into Econoboi's idea of how we would go about seizing the means of production and distributing the wealth. How does this system really work, the socialist system? Not the workers owning it, no. He has social ownership. He has this concept of social ownership. And he has this idea of a transition period where basically the state lands up owning everything, and creating capital for things to work. He does not seem to realize that he's expecting capitalism to continue and continue fueling the socialism. He doesn't seem to see that there's a disconnect there. And I hope that Destiny just said, that's a terrible idea. I hope that we get into that next episode. But yeah, this has been very entertaining. Because, yeah, I'm blown away by the hope that Econoboi has for this idea. And the fact that me, little old me, could pick up on the questions, the weaknesses in this model. And he has not satisfactorily answered those questions for me. So there we go. I really hated this one. Entertaining is a word for it. I've actually enjoyed so far. Look, it's only been about like 20 minutes, not even 15 that I've gone through. I've enjoyed the fact that this is even up for discussion. Because it's just, I thought we were going to get something revolutionary, something that I would have to think about, like, that could work. This is not, why do we have these conversations still? So yeah, that's that, and we will continue same time, same place, tomorrow with this, and see how long we go with this. And yeah, gaseous nonsense is another description for it. Yes, there's that. So yeah, we'll continue tomorrow. I don't know what we'll do on Thursday and Friday. Well, Friday is reaction content, but the revolution isn't going to be a discussion. Viva capitalism. Exactly, Tim. But apparently that's what Bro's argument is. It's actually viva capitalism, but so that it can fund the socialism. I want someone to root for. I hate this debate. I want someone to root. Well, actually, you can root for Destiny, because he's asking the right questions, at least. He doesn't have to make his own. He's not making his own argument. Just the fact that Econoboi makes his argument is entertaining enough. Like, again, I suppose he's making Destiny look reasonable and good. Why not? It happens. Capitalism Weekend at Bernie's edition. Yeah, exactly. I suppose that's what he's doing. We gotta find that Substock. Okay. Ew, no. Fine. Then root for Whick. I want Whick to be more active as a moderator. Remember when that guy did that thing? Yeah, well, that is that guy. He did that thing. But anyway, guys, that is that for today. I need to go and feed the cats. It is 44 minutes past their food time. So Destiny is an anti-hero. Like, Destiny, sometimes I agree with him, sometimes I don't. And actually, it's most of the time I don't. But yeah, he's just asking the right question, so we're good. I don't know how this goes in the end. Have a nice life, everybody, and we shall. Thank you, Creamage, for the cheer up song. And we'll see you tomorrow. Have a nice life. Okay, thanks, bye. What? Oh, I'm not leaving the studio. I'm ending the stream. Oh, I almost left the studio. Oopsie. Okay, now you can. Now, okay, thanks.
I'll see you next time, bro. Okay, thanks. Bye. We're squirky as fuck. Daisy's a menace, but we were having fun the whole time. I'll see you next time, bro. Okay, thanks. Bye. We're squirky as fuck. We're squirky as fuck. Daisy's a menace, but we were having fun the whole time. I'll see you next time, bro. Okay, thanks. Bye. We're squirky as fuck. We're squirky as fuck. She goes meow 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 meow. We're squirky as fuck. Okay, thanks. Bye.